All right, let's do a cheers to the Sobeys and Safer Liquid Beer Review podcast.
We ride again.
I love you guys.
Careful, that cake's hot.
Check-in, come on, let's go. It's the AM Nasty Big Hello. It's that static AM radio. It's the Cool Bet Red Hot Nielson Show. Let's go. Everybody's tuning in, even my wife.
Mommy likes too.
And those Macromala intros are cutting like a knife. Hey, it's Mitch texting in, he's your dealer for life. Let's crack a 6 o'clock and log in with some sirloin bites.
Good morning, Vietnam. I've always wanted to say that.
That sounded good.
Did it?
Yeah.
All right. I was worried I would crack a little bit this early in the morning, but I mean, I guess you could be listening to us in Vietnam now, right? You couldn't say that at the old station. All right. All right.
Wow.
Morning.
Gager's
Good
on
morning.
fire this morning.
Morning, Jay.
Morning.
Welcome, everybody, to the Nielson Show without Dustin Nielson and Lieutenant Eric. The Nielson Show, always our main sponsor, sponsored by South Fort Chevrolet. This promo is ridiculous, actually. Just looking at this,
I know.
It's unreal. So save up to $12,000 on a new Tahoe or Suburban. They have excellent stock available, and I myself actually can personally vouch for the Tahoe, being in one long time ago, and that wanting to be my first car.
Yes.
Perfect for skiing, hockey, accommodating all the car seats and strollers. Truly the best vehicle for the family. School's coming up, getting your kids to the extracurriculars. You can also save up to $14,000 on a Silverado 1500 HDs. Additionally, if you choose not to take the discount, you can get 0% financing on select trucks and SUVs on approved credit. And also this is probably one of the coolest things that they're doing is they're launching the back to school drive, the initiative to fill a truck with school supplies for local donation. If you're going by South Fort Chev, please just bring a few items. Regular business hours. Each donation comes with a chance to win a detail package and a $150 gift card to Source for Sports. So
Hey, that's nice.
that's real. That's good. Even if you're just you're passing by. Grab some pencils.
Drop off some crayons.
Yeah.
Round of clicks for South Fort Chev, I think. Come on, Trev. What? Guy gets a haircut and he can't do any more clicks or what?
You hear those clicks?
There you go, baby. There you go.
Those
That's
are
what I'm
crisp.
talking about.
Those are nice clicks.
Got the ears lowered, hey?
And Gager,
Oh, it's brutal.
this is we'll get to that. I think we have I've got beef.
And that hurts? Do we have that hurts today?
Oh, I got beef today.
No, I've got beef. So to break it down, here's what's coming up on the show today. We're gonna talk about something big that's happening today in the burger world with our good partners at A&W. We'll get to that right away. We've got Marshall Ferguson coming on from the CFL on TSN to set up this week's matches in the CFL. Gager's going to hit you up with that cool bet hotline. We've got I've Got Beef presented by Acme Meats. Tim Hery making another appearance this week because it is race week, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to have trivia. Hopefully today's guest gets it, unlike yesterday's guest. That was something. Maybe we'll break that down in the third hour. Obviously, 3 questions too many, presented by Park Mazda. And we're going to have head coach of your University of Alberta Golden Bears football team, Chris Morris, on around 8:35 to set up this year's football season in Canada West. It starts tonight for the Golden Bears out in Saskatchewan with an exhibition game. So we will catch up with the big fella, Chris Morris. And then we're going to wrap things up and talk about all our mistakes and Trev's hair and this burger thing.
That's good.
But back to the point of the matter. Today's a big day. We got a lot of people coming by the office later. 2024 is A&W's 16th annual Burgers to Beat MS campaign, which to date has raised over $20 million. This makes A&W the largest corporate donor for MS Canada. Good on you, A&W. And furthermore, 2024 is a huge year for the Greater Edmonton region as they will surpass the $2 million in fundraising for Burgers to Beat MS. 10% of A&W's national fundraising is done by the Greater Edmonton community. So good job to Edmontonians out there that obviously go out and support this. This puts the Edmonton area communities as a top fundraising region across the country. So what happens today, August 22nd? $2 from every teen burger goes to beat their Beat MS campaign. So if you guys are hungry today, you know you can support EST through supporting A&W, who's supporting their Beat MS Canada campaign. So get out there, and you know what, boys? You know, I heard a little rumor. A little birdie told me that there might be some teen burgers coming by the office just before the hangout. So that's why I didn't get breakfast sandwiches.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah, that'll be good timing.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, just in time for me to have a teen burger, drive home, and have a nap.
Yeah, absolutely. How about a nice conch for A&W?
Do it.
I like the teen burger is just solid. What's your go-to burger at A&W?
At A&W?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm being honest, it would be the bacon cheddar Uncle Burger.
Oh,
I think it fills more
space.
Fills more gaps for me. But you know, if you're just looking for, you know, we went to that new A&W. I was telling you all about this. It's the biggest thing in our Drawson right now because we have an A&W.
Yeah.
So we went there, and actually before the Stingers game a couple weeks ago, and my mother-in-law ordered a teen burger, and I was jealous.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking about McDonald's has the Big Mac, and the other places have the Whopper, but teen burger, and it just means so much more, I think, to Canadians than it would anywhere else.
Yeah.
Because A&W is a Canadian franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
And the teen burger, it is a perfect burger.
Yeah.
Trev, what's your go-to? Chicken tendies?
Man, no. Like at A&W, does it have to be a burger?
No.
Oh, okay. They launched when I was in grade 11, I believe, the spicy chipotle chubby chicken wrap. I have probably consumed over. I wish I kept track of the number, like how many I've consumed, because it's got to be at least 2,000 I've had in my life. I bet. My grade 12 year, I was just downing them. I still down them every now and then. Yeah, they're so good. Just that chicken with the chipotle sauce, it hits different, and that nice jalapeno cheddar or jack cheddar cheese they have on it with the lettuce, the crisp lettuce. It goes so good. I love that. And then they also got the bacon ranch wrap, which is pretty good. But the chipotle sauce is what does it for me. So The spicy chipotle chubby chicken wrap. If you've never had it, definitely have it because it's unbelievable.
We're giving you options today to go. Definitely get a team burger, but
You've no excuse not to go. And if you want to do the chubby checker chuka chuka booger thing wrap that Trev just mentioned there, do it tomorrow.
It's like going to Starbucks with him.
Yeah. Oh, the frappa maca Joe a little bit loaded. That is something else too. Is when well, I'll save it for I got beef.
Okay.
I got a lot of beef today.
Yeah,
I
lost my mind yesterday.
beef coming out of my yin yang. I could talk about. We might have to have an extended I've got beef segment today. We might have to. Now, Gager,
Yes, sir.
congrats.
Oh.
This is the first time I've seen you since the announcement.
Yeah.
You and the Latino Heat, Hernan Salas, are going to be bringing it up 1 to 3 weekdays. How do you feel, man?
Scared to death.
Appreciate the honesty.
It's a unknown time slot yet. Obviously, these guys have done this before. A lot of pressure, but because we're coming out of either the oil stream or two guys where we've cultivated quite a good following there.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think I, like most people, not only, I listen to the show as well as I'm on it. And if I'm at home working and the background is going and I got the show on at 1:00, it's like, oh,
Right.
It's almost like I wish I didn't listen to other parts of the show and so I could keep going.
Mm-hmm.
So I know it's going to be me, but I think for most people that do watch on YouTube or have it rolling on iHeart, just to keep going from that point on, have something else. And then, hopefully we can build some momentum, and then going into your guys' show, like that's going to be that's great, man.
It's going to be awesome to have continual sports talk.
Yeah.
Because you know how it is. I mean, you can only talk about the Oilers game last night for so long before you're going to have to talk about other things. And that I think these afternoon shows are going to bring is the opportunity to discuss, sports related things, but non-sports related things too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So looking forward to that as well. And I know Reed's just churning out ideas as the days go on.
Well, yeah. So I've got a little notebook, and I've been writing down kind of little segments to see, and then Hernan and I will meet up, and we'll probably. It was funny talking to Dusty about it. You can have a plan, but until you actually do it, you might sound good, but it doesn't really work, right?
Right.
A lot of this is a lot of it is organic. And hopefully Hernan and I can come up with some good ideas, but then also something come up that's this kind of works.
This
too,
is the thing,
right?
yeah, and that's what the beauty of it. At least what Reed and I feel is a lot of this will present itself,
yeah,
and it'll come, or like you said, organically, as opposed to just trying to box things in and see how it goes. But I mean, you look at the show that we're sitting in on. And you look at all the things that have come from this. You've got the Nasties chat, you've got the Conch, amongst so many other things, Creed Tuesday and Owen Wednesday. So it just takes a little bit of time.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
For the listeners, viewers, we are going to appreciate your support. And we'll be, thank God, sitting beside two professionals.
yeah. Again, that's gonna make it a little bit easier.
Can carry the torch for us a bit.
But it was nice to hear Hernan's voice on the airwaves again. I think that was. It's funny because I would see him at the games and stuff, and I go, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Yeah." I mean, obviously with the Elks, it's been tough. It's losing doesn't just affect the players and the coaching staff. It reverberates throughout the whole organization, right? So, and he wanted them to be way more successful, but there's always something to come home, so to speak.
Wow, and he sure seemed excited when he was on, and I, seeing him for the last couple of weeks down with Elk stuff, you can, he's got an energy about him that it's kind of, I think, for him returning home.
Yeah.
So to speak. So good for that. You'll hear Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage on the afternoon show. That will start September 3rd from 1 to 3. And that is going to dovetail nicely into the Reed Wilkins show with Jay Milne, which will air from 3 to 6 weekdays. Now let's get on with today's show. I mean, obviously, being that it's A&W Teen Burger Day, the A&W text of the day is definitely on the table. You can go get some turnt burgers for yourself. Don't forget to hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox at 780-218-9999. Paris Jewelers is family-owned and operated with 22 stores in 4 provinces across Canada. They have a large and high-quality selection of engagement rings that include lab-created at great prices. And we have to thank our studio sponsor, Popeyes, who now has boneless wings. I've seen more and more commercials for these boneless wings, and gosh darn it, I'm.
Are you a fan of the boneless wing?
Not generally. No,
Yeah.
I'm more of a bone-in guy. Like I like to get down and after it, but oh man, if you can just take one and pop it in your mouth and not have to worry about the bone, I think the bone adds a lot of cleanup to the job.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to a little cleanup though. When
you're into it,
when I'm into it, yeah.
when you're down in the dirt and you're eating chicken wings, I mean,
I'm a bone-in guy myself too.
You might as well get after it,
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And then obviously, Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia is coming up today.
Yeah, listen to the show because we had a unbelievable performance yesterday. Actually, it's always I don't want to hear Roseanne Barr, but sometimes how you get to it is the beauty of the journey itself. And yesterday, unfortunately, we had someone not get to go to Mr. Mike's. And the funniest part behind the scenes, you can't see Trev's face, but he's on the phone talking to who played yesterday, Trev? Who was it that played? We got a
Beauty Nasty.
Beauty.
His name is Brother Morgs.
Brother Morgs. Because Trev is like consoling therapist back there saying, hey, it's all right. It's secret.
Happens to everyone, man.
Yeah. And Dusty goes off on him. So what a loser.
Yeah, just in the background. Oh, that guy. What the heck was that? Yeah. So you feel bad. It's always tough when people come up short. I don't know what to say. I wasn't trained for that. Maddie didn't teach me what to say or tell me what to say. But what happens to the best of us. It is true. Like a lot of people are like, I can do it. But then all of a sudden you're put on the spot and then you kind of freeze, right? So it's easier said than done. I will say that. But yeah, I mean, if you, I'd like to think that if you listen to the show from hour 1 to 3, or I guess the first 2 hours, you should have a good sense of the questions. And so don't come in, just randomly, because there might be some questions we have in hour 1 and hour 2. So that's what I'd say to anyone who's, but yeah, let's get some new nasties. I know we have quite a few nasties.
Or we could just say we'll give him a free redo.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I'm like,
better
be sure
listening.
Be sure to call again. Because we'll have you on.
Red in the Nasty Chat makes a great point. Where is it here? The onion rings are unreal too.
Ooh, those are.
I mean, you can't go to A&W's without getting some hot, fresh onion rings.
Yeah, I mean, A&W is like it's a place where I stop if there's no dinner or road trips. Right, that's the first stop I'm grabbing, and there's always the onion rings.
Yes,
2 orders of onion rings.
Yeah,
and you're driving.
And I kind of like how they come in that little paper bag.
Yeah.
And you're getting it all over. But you know what the nice thing is like, and whatever, I'll just say, but like when you eat something from A&W, you feel like you're, okay, for instance, I was at Joey's last night for a meeting on the West End at 6:00. I had their, chicken or cheddar bacon burger. When you're eating an A&W burger, that's kind of what you feel like. You feel like you're getting a restaurant quality burger that's actually hand prepared. It's not just smushed all together. Like you're getting a decent burger. You know what I mean? And that it seems like that's gone the way of the dinosaur and fast food realm is getting a fresh burger. I won't name names, but A&W sure does take it off the top.
So true. It was always my favorite place to go growing up. Grandma was like, "Where do you want?" I'm like, "Definitely A&W." What does it for me is the spice, the seasoning. Like any other, the
they like
places,
their salt. They like
they have that. They have that. And there was before COVID, they used to some places every now and then you see it to where you get the ketchup. They have the seasoning that you can just freaking load it up. It's so good. So yeah, the burgers are nice. They're juicy. A little bit of grease in there. Oh,
You know what you should do, back to
love them.
Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia. You should start a tab sheet and just start tabulating how many in a row. So like
We do.
you do. What was that? What was that streak?
Bear with me.
Hey, I was while Trev looks. Why? How did the brisket turn out?
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went very well. For those that don't recall, immediately after the show on Monday that Gager and I were on, I went home and I threw the brisket on. Actually, true story. You saw me starting the grill from here, and I text my wife as soon as we were done. I'm like, "Hey, you can go throw it on," because she had brought it out of the fridge.
Yeah.
And I get home and she's on the phone. Seems like an important phone call. Then I turn around the corner into the kitchen, and the brisket's sitting there on the counter. Like, the brisket. You know what? It actually was a blessing in disguise because the timing of it was perfect. I still had an hour and a half of rest in the cooler.
Okay. Yeah.
So it worked out great. And then the next night we had brisket nachos.
Oh,
Like, come on.
that's
Come on.
Good. Yeah.
So a little bit of a personal note here. I need some advice, and I know it's not Wednesday, which is when our dearest friend Damon Bunting from Remax Elite gives us free advice. But I need some help from Gager, from YTT, and from the Nasties. A while back, for my daughter's birthday, my father-in-law bought us a overnight stay. He booked everything, set the date, an overnight stay at Fantasyland Hotel in West Edmonton Mall.
What?
In the Dino Suite. Like, they have this new Jurassic Park themed suite. And, like, this is right in their wheelhouse of ages, like 12, 10, 8.
Yeah.
So he had all the pictures printed out, and he gave it to the girls. So that is tonight.
Oh, wow.
So going home, napping, loading up the car, and then we're heading out. Because my daughter's in a volleyball camp till noon today anyway, so it works out perfect. But we're thinking we're going to hit the water park today,
Okay.
do that. Then the girls will, they'll actually sleep. Because you should see this room. If you can Google it, Google the
Dino Suite?
the Dino Suite at West Edmonton Mall.
Have you ever stayed in a theme room at the mall?
We used to do it all the time when
Oh,
I was
really?
young. Yeah. Once a year, we'd go to West Edmonton Mall, and we'd do the water park and the mini golf, and then you'd have a theme room that you'd stay in at night. So it's kind of funny how my father-in-law had no idea that we used to do this, but we're doing it now as a family. But it's got, like, dinosaurs in the room above the jacuzzi. It's got, like, this Jurassic Park-looking theme bunk bed. It's amazing. So I'm thinking do the water park today, and then get up, check out, do the Fantasyland thing or the Galaxyland tomorrow. So that's my question. That's my advice. I have not been to the water park since high school. You used to go on a trip at school or whatever. I don't know what to expect. Last time I was there, and I'm sure because of safety reasons, they can no longer do this, but they used to have this lightning one where you'd get on this little, it's like a little raft or a little, I don't know, and it would shoot you down this ramp and then shoot you across. You'd skip across the water.
Probably not.
That was cool. Then they had this huge, like, lazy river / like water tube slide. I'm assuming all of this is now gone.
I haven't. I had a few birthday parties with my kids there, and it was it was traumatizing. To tell you the truth, yeah, it was.
No,
Yeah,
do tell.
well, because my wife and I are sitting there, and we're kind of like chaperoning while the boys are running around and stuff, and then I see a woman just like pointing to the water, and her little kid is like little, and she's kind of pointing, just like, go to the water, and he just goes and drops trowel right there and is ready to let her rip, and I jump up, and my wife, God bless her, gets up, what, like, and no, and starts yelling at the mom and go inside, and you told your kid to go pee in the pool, right? But he should have gone a little deeper. Should, not to knee height. Go at least to the nipples if you're doing it that way. But and she was so mad at us. Like, you should have seen the way she looked at us, saying, "Oh, can't believe you did that." But yeah, so that was. And then I was kind of glad I just had my civvies on. But I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that story. I kind of ruined it for you. But speaking of West Edmonton, you sparked a memory of mine.
Do tell.
That's kind of, well, so I went to Athol Murray College of Notre Dame. So the high school played hockey, and we came out here, and we were playing in the St. Albert Bantam tournament. But my parents came out from the coast, stayed at West Edmonton Mall. So during the tournament, they were at the mall. And then as we left, I slept at the hotel with them the last night before I had to go back to to outside of Regina. And I thought, well, I'll just head into the mini bar here, grab a couple.
Oh no!
grab a couple drinks, and thinking as a kid, what was that, 15? That who's gonna know, right? Who's gonna tell them? And so I go one way. My parents go the other way. I get mail a few weeks later with the bill from the West Edmonton Mall and a note from my dad. So I'd stolen like $100 worth of booze or something, and me and my buddy drank it on the way
hilarious.
back. So, yeah, I was Colonel Kurtz up the river because I didn't contact my parents for a while. I was so scared, but yeah, it was. That
is a Gager story for sure. I mean, we've all been into the mini bars. Let's just.
I'm into the mini bar here half the time.
So apparently, everything I was talking about is now closed. White Lightning was the ride. Yes, it's gone. That comes in from RBM. This person didn't put their name to it, but I get the sense he's a little bit offended right now. Is it just me, or is the first hour of the show always just gibberish and no sports talk? Well, my dear friend, nameless dear friend, we will have Marshall Ferguson on from the CFL, and Trev's just about to hit up a sports update. It depends on the day. Monday, the first thing we could talk about was obviously the offer sheets. That has come and gone. Maybe we could recap that. Maybe we should just replay Monday's show. That might work.
Yeah, it's
it's summer.
Nothing happened last night. I mean, we're going into the weekend where there's a lot of, it's a good weekend of sports. There's NFL preseason, take that as you will. Some very important CFL games, I think, this
Huge.
Weekend. You've got F1, or in Zandvoort, the BMW Golf Championship this weekend as well. So we'll get to all that, and I know it's kind of like warm up. When you go to a hockey game, sometimes it's nice to go and watch the guys warm up, listen to some tunes, get ready, get pumped up. So just we'll come out to AC/DC here pretty quick, and
we'll be playing the hits in no time.
Yeah,
Trev, you know what time it is. It's that sports update time.
Yes, it is. And quick update. It was June 27th. I might have lost it. Nope. Or 17th. June 17th was the last time we had a loser on Kind of Easy Trivia. Okay. So just that was another update. But time now for your sports update. CFL Week 12 kicks off tomorrow as the 5-4 Rough Riders head out east to take on the 5-4 Toronto Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be making his CFL debut after being reinstated with conditions by the league. Kickoff for that one starts today, 5:30. Sticking in the CFL, it was announced yesterday that quarterback Cody Fajardo is set to return to the Montreal Alouettes lineup when they take on the Edmonton Elks on Sunday. The 32-year-old injured his hamstring in a loss to the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 6. And in the NFL, preseason continues tonight with two games. The Indianapolis Colts take on my Bengals. And the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Chicago Bears. In the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays blew a 6-0 lead to fall short in their three-game series with an 11-7 loss last night. The Blue Jays will now head out east to take on the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game series. Game 1 of that one starts today at 5. And to finish it off in the majors, one of the greatest Canadian ball players of all time, Joey Votto, announces his retirement after 17 seasons. The 6-time All-Star and former NL MVP finished his career with 356 home runs, which is 92nd most all-time and 4th most amongst active players. The Sports Update is brought to you by Nisku Glass, where they can meet all your automotive, residential, and commercial glass needs. They offer free pickup and drop-off services for your vehicle and free estimates at your home and business, and have a 4.8 star rating on Google. They will service anywhere in the greater Edmonton area and beyond. Give them a call at 780-955-7989 to meet all your glass needs.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. Well, there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tati and Eric and all of the bad cats like Wyszynski and Noodles. Gadget and Gage it. Maybe it's but a cool band to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Shaggy's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number 1 in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some Huntix and we wanna hear Renee. Why not hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away? Beat left the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the Canes? Macramella, Rapapo, Dragger and Tanier. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All about him given person, does he go forth? What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
6:34 on the Nielson Show. Back with Jay Milne. I'm Joaquin Gage. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. It always helps us out. And go to your friend's house and log on to their YouTube profile and press subscribe. That always helps as well. We're closing in on 10,000 here, and that would be great in 1 year to hit 10,000 subscribers. I think that's the goal. So, and we're close. We're really close.
We're in striking distance.
I mean, feel free to do it before the 1 year anniversary. That's always fine too, right? But yeah, no, I was just last night kind of going through some of the sports stuff. I saw Dustin Nielsen saying that the Edmonton Oilers talking about PTOs and who to bring in. There's always, every team has a few that they come in on a PTO for training camp, and the name Tyson Barrie has popped up here and there.
I saw Justin Schultz's name.
Well,
up, right?
Yeah, I mean,
It's shaking.
I
his
don't
head.
know. I don't know. I like. I don't know. It's always good. I think the more guys that you have that have done it and are wearing rings, only help in certain situations, especially when there's always already a wealth of experience with the Edmonton Oilers getting to the Stanley Cup playoffs, doing well, getting to within 1 goal, well, 2 goals really, but 1 goal to make it interesting. Schultz kind of interests me in a little bit. But then again, the other side of it, Tyson Barrie coming back, that coming home into the dressing room, he was, when he left, there was a definite sigh from a lot of those guys because he was such a big part.
He was one of the boys.
Yeah. If you look, if you ever watched,
Kind of like Cece was before they traded him away.
Yeah, Oilers Plus, like he was always the center of attention and making everyone laugh, right? And if you've met any of the Barries, like his dad is just absolutely crazy and funny and stuff. And I played against his uncle, and yeah, they're good people, really good people.
So do you think, I mean, That's the thing with these, PTOs is it seems like you're scraping the bottom of the barrel when you're bringing these kind of players in. Like if they were good enough to be on an NHL squad, wouldn't they already be on an NHL squad? And secondly, this is supposed to be an Oilers team that's competing for a cup, like year after year after year here. Is this the best that they can do?
Pieces of the puzzle.
Okay.
Like it doesn't complete the picture, but there's something there that I think that you need at times. There's always injuries. You never know what's going to happen throughout the regular season. They're so cap strapped.
Yeah. They're in a lot of hurt there.
That's the issue. But I think it's the first, like the Oilers have brought in some guys that there was a little bit of a checkered past with some of them. It didn't seem like a good move for the time. If you're going to do it constructively. That's what I'm saying. And I think by getting a guy like Barry in, that there still is some upside to him, some intangible things as well as play on the ice.
Like locker room leadership.
That type of stuff, right?
Glue guy kind of capability, right?
Just like you.
You know it.
But you don't have the PTO. You're locked up.
Yeah, I'm locked up
for years.
For life. Life at Fantasyland Hotel. That's my holiday is going to Fantasyland Hotel. We're calling it a staycation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it'll be fun. Yeah, I don't know. Trev, what's your thoughts on this? I see you shaking your head back there. Make sure you put the camera on you. Everybody wants to see your beautiful face, okay?
With
Take the hat off
Berry.
too if you feel like it.
No.
Show your haircut.
Nah, I might do that in the hangout. We'll see. It is interesting. I will say my memory of Tyson Berry will forever be engraved. The fact, like, just speaking on Oilers Plus, when the day he was traded, like Kenny Holland, you can tell he's been in the biz for so long. No hi, no hello, just hey Tyson, yeah, I traded you. and Tyson's like, oh, hey Kenny, really? Hey, so yeah, like that. That's how I remember that. It is tough. Speaking on like if it's the bottom of the barrel for Tyson Berry's case, I feel like he could, if he really wanted to go on a team. He could have. He definitely could have. But I feel like he wants to be on a contender. That's where he is at his stage in the career. I don't know. I don't know if this is legit or not, but apparently he was in Edmonton this week. I saw it on Twitter. It was Tyson Berry sighting, so I don't know anything about that. But yeah, would I be intrigued? I mean, it's not really the guy. It's not really the guy they need, right? They kind of already have Evan Bouchard, and they got a few glue guys, and he's been there, he's done that kind of thing. It's just, I don't know if he moves the needle. I feel like the Oilers need a defensive-minded defenseman instead of offensive, and at times he was getting ripped apart, right? And then he's a little older now. He didn't play a heck of a whole lot last year. So, I don't know. Justin Schultz, it's kind of the same thing. It's just the Oilers have been there, they've done that, and maybe a PTO. I could see a PTO for Schultz over Tyson Berry, I think. But I mean, for both players, I don't think you're going to be like, yes. If you're a fan, you're not going to be pumped that they get those two for a PTO.
Tom Gazzola in the Nast Chat. Good morning, Nasties. Obviously just getting home. That's good to see. Tommy, get some sleep. It's been a couple days now, Trev. I think it's still a little bit fresh for you. Jay, now that this happened, the offer sheets weren't signed. How do you feel the Oilers handled this? Did they do it properly? Do you think they should have brought at least one back?
Well, here's the thing, and this was the first test for Stan Bowman, new general manager of the Oilers, to stare this in the face and turn both of them down because they were bad contracts. Like if you sign either of those and they don't work out perfectly, you're gonna have egg on your face, and you're gonna be remembered as the guy that did that. This isn't Stan Bowman's first rodeo. He saw that. And I think I without knowing what's coming next, I mean, obviously this leaves them with a gap, especially on the defensive side. But hey, St. Louis, you take him then. You want to overpay for him? Go ahead, because it wasn't even let's say you're $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 apart. No, you're millions of dollars apart on the two contracts. So I don't mind it, especially if knowing that they're in cap trouble. Seeing this is usually something I think Oilers of old would have maybe bent the knee on one of those and said, "Oh, we'll take it." Just and you don't know how these are going to work out, so you're gambling with a lot of money. You're gambling with the salary cap, and I know that's probably not what especially YTT wants to hear, but because you feel strongly about Broberg in particular. Actually, I think both of them. You never know what they're going to become, but that doesn't mean that the offense, the upside is great if it happens, but if it doesn't, then you're going to look like a genius for not overpaying this young talent. But yeah, I don't mind that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of in your boat as well. After you're always emotional right away, and feeling about it. I was with Trev a little bit. I was more inclined to worry about not keeping Broberg, but it's very difficult to give a player with 80 games $4.5 million unless they are ridiculous in their play. And it hasn't been a smooth 80 games for Philip Broberg. And I think that the organization taking their time looking at this made what they feel is the best decision moving forward by kind of putting their trust in some other players that actually looking at now and kind of reviewing Podkolzin, Emberson, there could be something there, and I think you guys mentioned it on Oil Stream yesterday, Trev, Dusty and I talked about it. I think these days are really blurring together. But just the fact that going into camp, there are jobs open for certain individuals, right? There's a little bit more competition, which I think is necessary. You can't just come in with a full roster. But it's there's opportunity for a team that's going to challenge. I think they've taken on paper, they were, before all this, it was like, wow, this team they still had to put the product on the ice, obviously. We said the same thing at the beginning of last year, and look what happened. So, but...
Well, and I will say, Pix comes in the Paris Jewelers inbox, and please hit us up there, 780-218-9999. Then why trade Ceci? That's when that move happened on Sunday, I'm sure through all of Oilers country, okay, keeping Broberg. That's got to happen now. But then to not do that seems a little, it seemed like the dots were connecting at that point. But certainly there's other plans in mind. Maybe the PTOs that you're talking about have more, are more realistic than one would think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's been talk of getting rid of that CC contract for a year and a half, right? That's been part of it. I think there was just an opportunity to say, hey, look, CC's still a very good, reliable defenseman in my mind. But you look at his cap hit, and there was a way to save, and getting Emberson. I think the way the Oilers are looking at this is a little bit of apples to apples with a younger guy, less obviously not as much money, reliable stay-at-home defenseman. We'll see. If this works out, it'll make the Oilers' summer that started so great, and then there's been some question marks, look even better. But yeah, I think after a few days, to sum it all up, I feel like the Oilers did make the right decision.
Yeah, which is you asked us this time last week, you're thinking, okay, they're going to keep one or possibly two. But that's, I think, what the Oilers would have traditionally done. So that's why I think this is so alarming. And now that you're looking through it and you're looking through all the numbers, and maybe this, maybe in 3 months we're going to look back on this and say, oh, thank God we didn't keep both of those guys, right? YTT,
Trev.
come on, get in on this.
Yeah, maybe. Like you never know, right? I just feel like for the Broberg, yes, I can confidently say I feel like the general consensus, yes, that's an overpay for sure. It's obviously an overpay. Could it be an overpay in 2 years by the time it's done? You never know, right? It is a question mark. We don't know. But for Dylan Holloway's case, like just looking at it more and more, if you don't sign Broberg for that price, it's alarming. I get that, but like 2.2. Is it really an overpay? Like this guy is essentially like he hasn't played 100 games yet, right? Like he's at 90 games, and then the 27 or whatever playoff games in this playoffs. I just feel like if any other team, the Oilers, they lowballed him. They're like, well, 1 point, like that's because they're in a cap crunch, right? I feel like any other team, if they have the money, they'd probably offer him right around $2 million. And so in that sense, it's not that much of an overpay. And going into next year, I honestly think like this guy could get 30, 40 points, especially if he's playing in the top 6 in St. Louis. And who knows what would have happened if he played in the top 6 with the Oilers, playing with Connor and Leon. If he gets 40 points, it's obviously a question mark, but 40 points gets you right around $2 million in the NHL these days. Connor Brown signed for $3 million his first year with the Oilers, and he got 10 points, right? Like, so.
But we all thought he was destined.
Like 40, 50, right?
At least.
And but that's the market. For 40, 50 points, that'll get you right around like $3 million. So that one is the one that I was just like, it's not, it could be. And it's just that one wouldn't have been nearly as much of an overpay as the Broberg one. I think you would have been a lot more safe. But you never know. And it's going to be fascinating to see what these players do. And I could be incredibly wrong. And if I am, Nasties, feel free to let me know. And I can't wait because I've been wrong before. And my channel it's called Above Average, and it's not called Perfect.
Why not? Now that the waters have settled a little bit, maybe we put up that poll again, Trev. Let's see, because it was a majority was saying, they still were like, it was okay. That. Maybe things have changed a little bit.
But did Oilers, maybe an indictment on the Oilers management did they screw this up from the get-go and not sign both these players to their average or their, the value that they would have been paid had they just signed instead of having this happen? Hindsight's 2020.
It's so hard to jump into the mind of a GM and see the construction of the team and what do you see? I mean, the Skinner and Arvidsson Skinner is very, very talented hockey player. Like when we see this guy, it's going to be, wow, is this guy ever something else? There are some blemishes though in his game on the defensive side, but I think by playing in a team that's going to play he's going to play his first Stanley Cup playoff game with the Edmonton Oilers. And it just seemed like, wow, they've got these pieces that they needed, I think, right? You look at the last few games of the finals where, there wasn't a lot offensively or point production from Leon and Connor, right? And they were looking for other people to take the reins. And those are the types of players I think that can excel in those types of situations where take it upon themselves to push their team over the line. And by doing that, I think that was the focal point. That's what they thought they needed going into this year when it gets down to playoff time. But to realize that they had to have thought there could be the possibility that they two could be offer sheeted, and we will have some problems. I don't know. Dusty and I talked about it. They said they wanted this done at Christmas time. If they wanted it done by Christmas time, and that was a priority, it should have gotten done.
Yeah.
But it would have been done at the time of Arvidsson and Skinner, I think, not putting them into the vice and squeezing them,
right.
The juicer, so to speak.
Well, Owen James comes in the Paris Jewelers the Paris Jewelers inbox Emberson should be someone that makes the team this year. He's younger, cheaper, and as a shutdown defenseman, had 1 more point than Holloway in 8 less games. Still need another legit top right hand, though. So
Yeah, but I mean, now you do have a second and a third pick, right? There are some assets. Look, the trade deadline is going to be very interesting. I think from what I heard from Stan Bowman is his philosophy is this is the team you're going to see starting day one training camp, and it's going to be a fight for a few extra positions, and they're going to evaluate what they have and what they need.
I don't know. I just Trev, that poll, it looks like now everybody seems to be somewhat okay with.
Yeah, no, and from the get go, like if you were frustrated, that was you were in the minority. Yeah, 76% of people are happy that they didn't match both as what I had. So yeah, that seems to be, and it's interesting. I'm fascinated by that, but each to their own. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of I don't knows, and it'll be fascinating to watch what these guys can do.
If you want to support some organization that does match or at least contribute, we got to talk about A&W. This is a big day. A&W, it's $2 from every teen burger today on August 22nd. Helped beat MS. So make sure you get out there, go have a teen burger, go have a double teen burger or a Beyond Meat teen burger, and every burger purchased goes to MS, or you can round up your bill and donate a flat amount on your order, or donate online at burgerstobeatms.ca. This is neat. Edmonton is their largest, I guess, the metro area that raises the most money year over year. So congratulations, Edmontonians. Go out, get yourself an A&W burger, then drive on over to South Fort Chev, take advantage of their employee pricing. What are they saving right now, Gager? $14,000 on Silverados 1500s?
Oh, gosh. This is ridiculous. So I'll go through it again. Save up to $12,000 on a new Tahoe or Suburban. They've got the stock. And remember, with everything starting up, hockey, your girls' volleyball, how much easier is it just to throw all that crap in the back? Don't have to worry about it.
Heck yeah.
Perfect for hockey, skiing, accommodating with all the car seats and strollers. It is truly the best vehicle for a family. And you can also, this is what's great, save up to $14,000 on Silverado 1500s and HDs. That's heavy duties, I believe, not hard discs. Additionally, you can choose to not take the discount and get 0% financing on select trucks and SUVs on approved credit. Don't forget about the back-to-school drive. Swing by, drop off a few school supplies for possibly kids that just can't afford it. Always nice to start the year fresh with some new stuff and a smile on your face as a kid going to school.
Well, a lot of people now saying, hey, this was the right move, but, there's still a lot of concerns, and I guess at the end of the day, this was a move to preserve your cap space. Ultimately, to have some ability to
little
move
flexibility,
not
not much
flexibility, because if those were matched, you're screwed. You're
Yeah.
screwed for the entire season, and you're playing chess the whole year, right?
And I still think it's weird that we haven't heard what Evander Kane's doing yet. It's puzzling to me. And maybe
maybe they don't know what they have to do with Evander Kane yet.
There was talk that his doctors in this, where, Greece was he in? Yeah, somewhere. So he's not ready. Oh my gosh.
Hey boys, how comparable right now is the 2018 Edmonton Oilers decor versus decor right now? I think there's a lot of similarities you can look at, maybe slightly better right now, but not much more than that. I don't think we need a reminder on what happened that year. There's a lot of stress on Stu Skinner this year with this decor. Am I wrong for thinking this way, Dawson, a.k.a. Bison Mask guy?
No, like Stuart Skinner is a year older. I think you're just scratching the surface of what type of goaltender he's going to become. I don't think he's even close to entering his prime yet. So he's going to have to be better. Right? He's going to have a better start for sure. But I would fully expect that from him. There's something, and this I think it happened sometime 2 years ago, where you go, okay, I can play at the NHL level, but it's another thing to tell yourself I belong at the NHL level, and that last year what he went through, going through the playoffs, the ups and downs. Like unfortunately, you learn from your mistakes. I'm a genius.
What do you know? Do you think this is the year that Stu Skinner elevates to that all-star caliber?
Oh, well, he's done it before, but I think he'll be instead of all-star, I would say Vezina. I'm not going to say he'll win the Vezina, but there will be definite consideration at the end of the year where he's in that top 5 zone, maybe outside looking in, but really close.
But do you think this year he can get into that?
Yeah, I do. It's definitely possible, especially with because he's going to have to be counted on early, right? This is more nights than not. You're going to need to be talking about Stuart Skinner as the first star of the game, rather than 29 and 97.
Wow, and I mean that would be a game changer for Oilers fans to have that stability that they saw from Skinner. As the playoffs went on, that was what he was showing he's capable of. And
I think the nice thing too is they've got, like, we haven't talked about Oilers goaltending at all. Not once.
That is weird.
When has there been an off season that we have not had a goaltending discussion over the past a decade? Maybe.
Yeah.
I know it was rampant
nice.
back when I played.
It's nice.
Yeah, isn't it nice not worrying about it? So, I mean, last year was what's Jack gonna do? At the there were so many questions last year. God, that was awful.
What a time to be alive.
This is the first time that we I got nothing to talk about.
Yeah, Stewie Skins, he can do it. It's just a matter of just doing it consistently.
Yeah.
Like that's his thing. He could put like just a stellar game and you're just like, wow. And then he'd kind of crap the bed the next game, but then he'd have another good game. So he'd win some fans over, but then you're not quite sold. So he can do it. We've seen it, and it's awesome. He just needs to be a little bit more consistent. But I don't think it's exciting to say that the Oilers have like a stud in that. Like, it's been a long time.
He was firing the gun at the ranch. The shotgun start looked good. Looked in shape. Looked in shape. Ready to go.
Okay, well, we got a sports update coming right away from YouTube, Trev. But before we do, John the Breadman, can I get a last-minute conch for being back to work after having a framing brace in the attic that wasn't properly nailed fall out under my feet on our 4-story apartment build Monday? Breadman, I hope you're okay. Trev, let's hit that update.
CFL Week 12 kicks off today as the 5-4 Rough Riders head out east to take on the 5-4 Toronto Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be making a CFL debut after being reinstated with conditions by the league. Kickoff for that one starts at 5:30. Sticking in the CFL, it was announced yesterday quarterback Cody Fajardo is set to return to the Montreal Alouettes lineup when they take on the Edmonton Elks on Sunday. The 32-year-old injured his hamstring in a loss to the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 6. And the NFL preseason continues tonight with 2 games as the Indianapolis Colts take on the Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Chicago Bears. In the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays blew a 6-0 lead to fall short in their 3-game series with an 11-7 loss last night. The Blue Jays will now head out east to take on the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game series. Game 1 of that one starts today at 5. And to finish off in the majors, one of the greatest Canadian ball players of all time, Joey Votto, announces his retirement after 17 seasons. The 6-time All-Star and former NL MVP finished his career with 356 home runs, which is 92nd most all time and 4th most amongst active players. The Sports Update brought to you by Green Plan, providing you with award-winning environmental planning and consulting services, whether it's municipal, industrial, or residential. Plan it right with Green Plan. Visit greenplan.com or give them a call at 780-455-4292.
What say you? Hey, nasty crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. What say you? Hey, nasty crew. My wife thinks I got better things to do, but there's nothing I can do about it. We're tuning in on TuneIn, we're listening online. We catch up with the podcast when we fall behind. We're texting in the nasty chat, what's on our mind. 780-218-9999. No more interference from corporate interest. Just Tati and Eric and all of the bad guys like Brzezinski and Noodles. Captain can gauge it. Maybe it's Bubba to Kuban to make a little wager. We can't wait for the Monday Mandate. Sharky's always on time. Tommy's always late.
Would you like a cup of tea?
Forget about the old place. Hey, we were number one in the text race. We don't miss all the commercial breaks, but we sure miss Nickelback today. We wanna hear some hot takes and we wanna hear Renee. Wanna hold the neck up when I wanna kiss away. Beat us the tire fire and remember that name. We love every goal song, but what about the games? Macramel, Rapapo, Dragger, and Tanier. It ain't Christmas season, but they sound like reindeer. Button and my cousin and the tales of the North. All the program game in person, Dusty go forth. What say you? AM Nasty Crew. We got the Nielson Show flu, and there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's nothing we can do about it.
7:04 on the Nielson Show. I'm Joaquin Gage here with Jay Milne. YouTube Trev. That update was Trev being trapped at his own end and couldn't get the puck out. Probably took 2 penalties on that one, Trev.
Yeah.
We're down 5-on-3.
He's
till
desperate
the bottom
right
of the
now.
hour. But
Ice the puck, Trev. Ice the damn
yeah.
puck.
It was good. It was good, man. Yeah,
That was exciting.
I would love to go to Indianapolis.
That was a tongue twister, man.
Wow.
I might take that out. I can't say that. Indianapolis, jeepers.
Wow.
That was a tough one, man.
That was good.
So if you can laugh it off, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's good. And everybody's there supporting you. I do think we need to get back for the remaining 3 updates to the 10-point scoring table here, so
Yeah.
we can properly
Under pressure, you gotta put me under pressure.
Trev
I
works
seem to do
best under
better.
pressure.
I think so.
Coming up at 7:30, we will get to ranking these rating these on a 10-point scale.
I'll be an Oilers fan upper deck yelling,
Yeah.
"Get it out!
You can
Get it out!"
But we do have Marshall Ferguson coming up very soon here, so we're going to talk some CFL. We're going to set up the weekend and look at this CFL season. Now, one thing I just saw come into the Paris Jewelers inbox. I keep calling it the Paris Jewelers Nasty Chat. Paris Jewelers inbox presented by Paris Jewelers. Flexible payment options including do not pay for 1 year. Shop in store or online at www.parisjewelers.com. Big Maple, put it on the map. On vacation back home. He sent a screenshot of where he is. He's in Kentville. He's at Wolfville is the home of Acadia University. So Wolfville is right beside Kentville. And that's where they played the touchdown Atlantic between the Argos and the Riders. So we will put that on the map, Big Maple. But for now, we are going to get to Marshall Ferguson, who is joining us. He is a play-by-play analyst for CFL on TSN. And look at this guy. Like, where are you? You're just getting in your morning jog. You're looking fresh and clean. What are you up to, Marshall?
I'm on an adventure, so the only thing that you can do when you're on an adventure is get an adventure bike for the weekend. So I've got a right now a Honda Africa Twin ESDCT Adventure Sport bike, 1100 cc, so a little bit bigger than what I'm used to with my little sport bike. But yeah, I picked it up from Honda Canada yesterday. I've got a couple of people and connections that work in Honda Canada, so they were nice enough to lend this to me for the week. I'm actually calling Edmonton at Montreal coming up this Sunday. So I'm just like riding through the countryside and hanging out and making my way slowly to Montreal. Might dip my toes down into Vermont for a couple of days here in between doing prep and everything else for the game, but looking forward to it.
That's amazing. So you're biking on this beautiful motorbike all the way to Montreal to call the game.
Yeah. So I am. I basically had like my bike. full backstory on this is that I would have taken my own bike, which is a little Honda CBR 300, little sport bike. But I got hit by a deer 2 weeks ago, which is another funny backstory on that one. A deer decided to run through my face and basically total my bike. So I had to take GO Transit yesterday from Hamilton to downtown Toronto to Markham to get an Uber to go over to Honda Canada to pick up this bike, and then I rode it to Peterborough. Today I'm going to go to Lombardy Raceway because there's some mini GP for the Canadian junior kids going on there. Say hello to them. We got Zooms with Edmonton and Montreal coming up on Friday. Saturday, go for a ride down into Vermont through the mountains, and then come back up on Sunday and enjoy calling the game. So, and then all the way back from Montreal to Hamilton on the bike coming up on Monday. So that'll be fun.
Wow. Who are you? This is just, I'm just enamored with like everything you're saying. I couldn't do that in a year.
Dusty's on a bike right now,
honestly,
isn't he?
Yeah, right.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, Dustin's just riding through the prairies right now, right? It's the easiest way to get around.
Dusty's feet don't leave the ground even to go up on the pegs of a motorbike. They just leave the ground when he's walking up the stairs to his next jet.
Yeah, that's true. The private jet for Dusty exclusively. He's got that
Only
Kirk
PJs.
Street deal, right? For TSN. So, no. So for me, like I fell in love with riding bikes because I was covering the Canadian Superbike Championship, which we also have on TSN. So I was going to the track the last couple of years and meeting all of these great people that are around and being able to kind of experience, the culture a little bit and try something a little bit different. And then I went down to Daytona this past March. And it's the Daytona 200, which is the kind of the preeminent North American endurance race, if you want to call it that. So the owner of the Bridgestone Canadian Superbike Championship, Ross Milson, who's also a Hamilton guy and used to race Canadian Superbikes, he said to me, well, do you want to go out on the track? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like just to go for a track walk at Daytona? I'm like, of course, I'd love to go out and walk around. And as soon as I said that, he goes, no, the only way to get you on the track here is to be on the back of a bike. And I'm like, really? Like, how do we do that? And he goes, they do 2-up rides, right? Where somebody else is riding and driving and you sit on the back of the bike and you basically go around. So I went 270 kilometers an hour on the banking at Daytona International Speedway on the back of a Suzuki GSX-R 1000. And I hopped off the bike and my whole life was changed. I was like, yeah, this is me now. So yeah, I ride typically to every game in Hamilton and Toronto that I do. Obviously, Montreal and Ottawa covering a lot of games in the East. There's a little bit less of it, but when the schedule allows, and Honda Canada being nice enough to lend me a beautiful bike like this that I can rip around on and have a ton of fun, and it's got the legs to be able to get there and back without having any issues. So yeah, it's a fun way to go to a game for sure, and it just kind of adds to the experience, right? It's like get all my prep done and do everything I got to do, and then get to the game, call the game, and then when the game's done, hop on the bike and get excited to go back home.
That is outstanding. Good for you. Living your best life. Now we must talk some CFL. I'd love to just listen to you tell stories about your bike escapades across Canada, but we got to talk about the CFL. I couldn't believe it when I saw it, but this is the halfway mark of the CFL season, being that it is week 12. And I mean, we've got no shortage of storylines. Saskatchewan, their defense is continually taking the ball away. The Red Blacks, the Elks, they're both hot. Red Blacks are 4-0-1 in their last 5. Elks obviously are 3-0. Montreal dominating the East with a 9-1 record currently. Marshall, what's been the biggest story of the 2024 season thus far for you?
I think it's Montreal, and the reason I say that is that I don't think any of us could have anticipated they would be able to carry over the momentum they had by winning the Grey Cup into the start of this season. That it's a crazy thing to be able to do. Like Jason Moss being able to, in the first year, put in a culture that allows him to roll seamlessly into year number 2. to me, that just shouldn't happen. Like, our league is, and I don't want to say random, but I think you guys understand if I use that word, that we could see, like, let's look at BC Winnipeg. Right, Nathan Rourke is back this past week, and you're going to have a massive crowd at BC Place, and everyone's going to celebrate about the fact that the prodigal son has returned home, and Winnipeg doesn't care. Like, Winnipeg just goes ahead and does whatever they want to do, and all of a sudden they look like the Bombers again, which is Nick Dembski and Zach Collaros and Brady Oliveira and. So I think that the league as a whole, it's very difficult to predict. And for that reason, to see Montreal at 9-1, being undefeated against teams in the West, being undefeated on the road, that's pretty special. Like, that's really, really elite stuff. And it's pretty cool to see that they've also done it with 3 different quarterbacks, right? Because quarterback depth is always the biggest thing in this league. You're going to have to use at least 2, maybe 3 at various points throughout the season. I like Caleb Evans. I don't think he was going to be the long-term answer. Him getting hurt certainly opened the door for Davis Alexander. Plus, Davis was kind of hopping in before they ended up actually having Caleb go down for the season. But when Cody did that hamstring, I think the immediate thought was, they don't have a lot behind him. Well, we found out that they do. And it just adds to the story of Montreal this season. So, I mean, there's 1,000 different big storylines. Like Edmonton's turnaround, the evolution of that franchise, the new ownership that you guys have there locally, that's massive. Like, that's super, super important for the league. We should never just wander past the fact that having stable local ownership is something that the CFL, as recently as 5 years ago, was basically struggling to find consistently in a variety of different markets. And now you've got very passionate ownership in Montreal. You've got Amar Doman in BC, and you've got Larry there out in Edmonton. So I just feel like you have to respect the fact that that is a huge, huge upswing for the Canadian Football League, and that makes us excited for the future. So I would say, yeah, Edmonton, Montreal, and then now there's this looming cloud, I don't know what else to call it, of Chad Kelly coming back with the Argonauts, because that has the potential to be the biggest story of the season, and it hasn't even begun yet.
That's where I wanted to go with you, Marshall, with Chad Kelly coming back, fielding a lot of tougher questions, and by all accounts, answering those questions adequately. What do you see from him with the Argos moving forward? Because he going to, I asked this question to Naylor yesterday. Is Chad Kelly going to have the biggest impact coming in from this suspension, being at the quarterback position in the CFL?
See, I have my doubts. I'm skeptical about it, and I know the quality of player that Chad is, but I genuinely believe you can't just hop back in and throw for 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. I think Nathan Rourke showed us that this past week. And by the way, I think Nathan Rourke is every bit the quarterback that Chad Kelly is professionally in the CFL. I add that as caveat because a lot of people would say, well, you look at Chad, he was a first-round talent, and Nathan wasn't even taken in the NFL draft, and blah, blah. Sure, that's fine. In the CFL, as a pro, I think that Nathan has that caliber of play. Nathan has played more recently. Nathan hasn't had to deal with all of the off-field things that Chad has. So for that to turn out the way that it has, and for Nathan to come back, and he still needs a couple of weeks here and there, I think that should kind of educate everybody on the fact that moving forward, Chad, even if he comes in and he looks okay, he's not really going to be himself. I would say for probably 3 weeks to a month. Like, that's the acclimation period of, you're getting through your reads, and maybe you know the playbook and you're familiar with everything and you know your receivers and their body language, and you get from 1 to 2 to 3, but it's not really as fast as you'd like. By the 3rd or 4th game playing, you'll get from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to your check down, and you won't even think about it. Like, because your brain, you have to wire your brain with live reps in order to get back up to speed. So is Chad going to be good? Yeah, Chad's a good quarterback. Is Chad going to play at a high level right away? I don't think he will. I could be wrong about that, but I just don't think that that's the way that quarterbacking typically goes. The bigger question to me about this, guys, is it's less about football and it's more about people, and it's more about the dynamic in that Argonauts locker room. Because I genuinely wonder how everybody else in that room is going to take Chad just getting dropped into the middle of the fray. Because I know that Nick Arbuckle is really, really respected, as he should be. And people really, really liked playing with Cam Dukes as well at various points throughout this season. So everybody in that room wants to win. They want to win the Grey Cup. Chad probably gives them the best chance to win that Grey Cup. But I think that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to kind of have to ask themselves, like, am I willing to put aside all of the frustrations from the fact that this guy wasn't here for the first half of the year in order to try and chase this Grey Cup championship? I think everybody will handle that differently. What I do know, and what I really, really respect from the Canadian Football League on this, is when they decided to go ahead and label that coming back as a last chance agreement, make no mistakes. Chad trips. Even if he doesn't fall down, if he trips once more in any way, shape, or form, Chad Kelly's done in the Canadian Football League. And that's because they have framed it wisely as, if you're not going to do things properly, and he's shown throughout various points of his career that he's had difficulty doing things the right way, we're just going to basically detach ourselves from you if you make one more mistake. And for them to frame it that way, I think is smart, because it protects not only the Argonauts, but also the league itself by saying, we're not going to have people up here that are going to treat others in a bad way. So I think that that's the smart way for them to try and frame it.
Well, and it'd be certainly interesting to see how that plays out. I feel for the CFL, the best case scenario here would be for nothing to happen, for no news at all moving forward from Chad Kelly. But I guess time will tell. Now, to the game that you were calling on Sunday night, the Red Hot Elks heading to Montreal to take the 9-1 Alouettes. It was reported yesterday that Cody Fajardo will be returning to the starting lineup, and it would appear as though the Double E will be relying on MBT again, as Trey Ford is still recovering from the rib injury. It's been 6 weeks since Fajardo last played. I'm not expecting a top-level performance from him, but given the resurgence of the Double E's running attack and the way they're playing right now, do you think that Edmonton can roll into Percival Molson Stadium on Sunday and hand this Alouettes team their second loss?
I think that they can, because the way that you have to do it, as shown by the Argonauts when they were able to beat Montreal in Montreal for their only loss of the season, you have to play three-phase football, and Edmonton's return game is looking increasingly dangerous. So you got to get a return touchdown at this point. I actually wrote an article on CFL.ca yesterday while I was in transit on a GO train, so it might not be my best work. So sorry if anybody didn't really like the article, but it is essentially about the fact that, okay, is Montreal untouchable? The answer to that is no. Right? They're a CFL team. They're very hot. They're playing very well. They've got a lot of things going for them. Austin Mack coming back, all the rest. But they're going to get beat at some point this season by somebody. Like, they're not going to go undefeated the rest of the year. So who's the biggest threat to actually beating them? And I kind of did a power ranking of these things, and I said, I think the Ottawa Red Blacks are the top threat to them. And the reason for that is they've shown quarterback depth. They've shown that they can get after the quarterback as well with their pass rush. They're able to turn the ball over. They're able to have a return game. I got the Toronto Argonauts in there because I think Chad is dangerous if he gets up to speed and does the right things in his return with the Argonauts. But then you start looking around, I was kind of like, well, BC has got them a couple of different times, and Nathan Rourke is going to get up to speed quickly. Sure, that one's in there. And then I was looking, I'm like, Calgary, nah, there's not really a connection there. Winnipeg, maybe. And then I came to Edmonton, I'm like, man, the way that Edmonton has been playing as of late, it would make a lot of sense if they went in there and Cody, speaking of quarterbacks getting back up to speed, if he has a rough half, or if it's a slow start, or maybe it's a bit of a lackadaisical third quarter kind of thing, if MBT puts it together the way that he did against Hamilton, I'm like, why would they not be able to go in there and get a victory? So, yeah, I think Edmonton is very, very dangerous. And the biggest question that I have watching the Elks over the last essentially month is, like, what do we give credit for? And I kind of hate this, because in sports media, we're always trying to find, like, assign blame and give credit. That's basically the entire job, is like, who do we assign blame to when things go poorly, and who do we give credit to when things go well? I genuinely don't know who to give credit for how things have changed at Edmonton. Like, is it Jarius Jackson? Is it a change in quarterback? Is it a change in system? Is it a change in mentality? Did the room come together and have a conversation that allowed things to evolve forward that we really don't know that much about? But all I know is that Edmonton's playing exponentially better football than they were through the first essentially 2 months of the season. It was not pretty in any way, shape, or form. So, I think this game, Edmonton-Montreal, I'm biased because I'm calling it, and I hope that it's this. I think it should be the game of the week, because I think there's enough storylines there that are football specific that it is a great matchup, X's and O's wise. And let's not forget about longtime former Edmonton defensive coordinator Noel Thorpe in a revenge game against the Montreal Alouettes.
Well, and just to to answer your question as to what has sparked the change in Edmonton, I think it was a combination of what obviously was a dark cloud of Chris Jones as the head coach and GM being removed from the team, followed by a week later the quarterback change, bringing in Trey Ford, sparked this team. Even in that Hamilton game where they were getting blown out and Trey Ford came in and put up 21 points in 9 minutes and 40 seconds, that defense played better. The offense played better. Things changed at that very moment. Now, where that goes now that he's got this rib injury, MBT came in last week. Did he steal the show? No. But did he lose the game for them? No. He went out and led them to a victory. So if we can see that kind of play from Macbeth going forward here into Montreal, this is a team that's playing differently, though. Their defense was ignited. I believe the change in the locker room is what happened. I mean, you've been in locker rooms. You've seen what can happen when the evil, bad person's removed from it and everybody can breathe and relax. I think that's what's happened here.
Yeah, like the word that I always come back to, and maybe it's because I'm trying to connect with the youths, and maybe it's because it's the one that makes the most sense, but is vibes. Like the whole thing is just like vibes are very difficult to pin down. I'm sure there's a significantly more articulate way that we could explain what vibes are. But really what it comes down to is when you walk into the facility, are you excited to be there or are you not? Do you like the guys that are sitting not just in the locker next to you, but 10 lockers, 20 lockers down from you? Because if you don't like going to work, if practice doesn't feel fun, if you're not enjoying the game, if you don't like the guy who's 20 lockers down from you, then the vibes suck. And if the vibes suck, nobody wants to go to work. Nobody wants to play hard. And then all of a sudden, my first experience being a starting quarterback, this tells you a lot about me, guys, was when I was in grade 10. I played summer football in what was then the Ontario Varsity Football League and played for the Limestone Grenadiers, which was kind of an amalgamation of like Kingston, Brockville, Belleville, Gananoque, Napanee. And all of these players came together and man, the vibes were awesome. We really, really liked each other. It was a really, really fun group. Problem was we went 0-8 and I threw 20 interceptions in 8 games as a starting quarterback.
I felt something like that was coming.
It's like, yeah, you can have great vibes, you can have a great locker room, and you can still lose football games. When you're a high school kid, it's fine. Who cares? It's not professional football. You're not getting paid and the contracts aren't at play and people aren't getting fired and all the rest. But what I'm saying is Edmonton at the start of the year, they were losing and the vibes sucked. And that's really, really hard. So, yeah, winning helps everything. But, yeah, I think that everybody kind of got on the same page once Chris Jones was out. And once they did, then everything started to be a little bit more enjoyable. And when people like going to their jobs, history and science will show that people typically do better at their job when they like going into work.
Well, it'll be an exciting game. I too hope it's the game of the week for you, Marshall. We appreciate your time. Safe travels on that beautiful motorbike.
You want me to fire it up for you guys?
Yeah, Marshall, is there Wi-Fi on that thing? Because this is one of the cleanest connections ever, too.
Give it some gas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Well done, Marshall. You have safe travels. Thank you for coming on and spending some time with us. And we will see you. We'll all see you Sunday night on CFL on TSN. Thank you, Marshall.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. This segment brought to you by Honda Can't. No, I'm just kidding.
Take care.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Wow.
What a story.
What an interesting way to get to a game.
Living his best life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just gonna hop.
I like him. He's a beauty. He's an absolute stud.
He knows his stuff. I like the being a former player, the insight into the locker room kind of things. You know, I can resonate with that a little bit. Just the fact that trying to pinpoint, especially with the Elks here, what was the moment that things kind of changed? You know, there was a lot of change. I do think there was an ownership bump. And obviously the play of Trey Ford, it can just a little spark, into the gas, and it can ignite. I think the Elks are uniquely suited to win this game in Montreal.
I said it right after last game that this is the perfect time of the year or perfect part of the schedule to go to Montreal.
Yeah.
Because there's zero pressure on you. Zero. If they lose, they're expected to lose. But if you went in and win, now you're turning heads more than you even have, especially if you can go in and listen, I don't know what's going to happen with Trey Ford. Maddie and I were talking about it. Maddie's adamant that you don't lose your job to injury. Maddie's never played a sport in his life, so he wouldn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I don't think that's the case. If Macbeth can go in and lead this team to a victory,
first up, best dressed.
It's hard to stop rolling with the hot hand.
Yeah.
And especially if Trey is injured with a rib injury that can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. If McLeod Bethel Thompson's going in there and playing well, then why wouldn't you let that injury fully heal? So when Trey Ford is ready, you're getting him at 100%.
And look, players will tell you they don't watch the scoreboard. It's game to game, but you do have a glance from time to time.
Absolutely.
And with Fajardo and Mac coming in, Fajardo, hasn't played. Mac coming back to the CFL.
Yep.
There is a little bit of a learning curve there. The success of the Alouettes up to this point, and now you have a hungry Elks team looking for wins, uniquely situated to set them up perfectly for the Labor Day Classics.
Yeah.
I think I have a little lean on the Elks this weekend.
I'm smelling Elks too.
Changing 100.
Hey, my man. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. We are going to get to a sports update that will be ranked from 1 to 10. Please, if you are listening in the nasty chat, hit that thumbs up button. If you're listening and you haven't subscribed, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are gunning for 10,000 before our 1-year anniversary, which is coming up here shortly in September. But first, we must be reminded of what today is from our dear friends over at A&W. A&W is doing the burgers to beat MS. Every burger counts. $2 from every teen burger today helps beat MS. This is the 16th annual Burgers to Beat MS campaign, which has raised over $20 million. This makes A&W the largest corporate donor for MS Canada. So kudos to our friends over at A&W. Show them that advertising works and go out there, get a teen burger today, and help support multiple sclerosis in Canada. It's time, everybody. Bring out your Gager. How would you say it when you're the judge of?
Just bring out your sheets, just like the diving, right?
Yeah.
Let's.
We're looking to score this. We're ranking this from 0 to 10. Obviously, 10 is the best.
Can't get any worse.
YouTube Trev, no pressure for you, young fella. Go ahead and deliver an award-winning sports update by YouTube Trev.
CFL Week 12 kicks off today as the 5-4 Rough Riders head out east to take on the 5-4 Toronto Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be making his CFL debut after being reinstated with conditions by the league. Kickoff for that one starts at 5:30. Sticking in the CFL, it was announced yesterday that quarterback Cody Fajardo is set to return to the Montreal Alouettes lineup when they take on the Edmonton Elks on Sunday. The 32-year-old injured his hamstring in a loss to the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 6. And the NFL preseason continues tonight with 2 games as the Indianapolis Colts take on my Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Chicago Bears. In the majors, Toronto Blue Jays blew a 6-0 lead to fall short in their 3-game series with an 11-7 loss last night. The Blue Jays will now head out east to take on the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game series. Game 1 of that one starts today at 5. And to finish off things in the majors, one of the greatest Canadian ballplayers of all time, Joey Votto announces his retirement after 17 seasons. The 6-time All-Star and former NL MVP finished his career with 356 home runs, which is the 92nd most all-time and 4th most amongst active players. The Sports Update brought to you by the great staff at Park Mazda and dealer principal Mitch Lewicki. Mitch likes YouTube Trev Sports Updates, especially when he completely butchers the team's names.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as newborn 8-pound, 6-ounce Mitch Lewicki. You can picture grown-up Mitch, or teenage Mitch, or bearded Mitch, or whoever you want.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
I got a big shot off this stick of mine. I keep those lanes wide open all the time. Drysidle setting up shop, McDavid's flying. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line. As sure as new G is slick and Kane is tough. We're going all the way this year, enough is enough. And we can play 'em straight or we can play 'em rough. I'm feeling fine when I walk the line. You know I shoot that puck so very, very hard. The name on the back of my jersey says Bouchard. And we're gunning for first place, not a wild card. I'll hit the twine when I walk the line.
Wow, Trev is getting you're getting all the love in the nasty chat.
I don't deserve it. Nope. Today's just not the day, okay? We all have them. I don't know why. I'm struggling, but that's okay. I appreciate the support. Like any great athlete, I'll work hard and I'll be better.
Who are you, Nathan Rourke, after last game? Jesus.
I think Box Pounder really did a good job here breaking it down. Pacing 8.6, enunciation 9.5.
Oh, he's breaking
stumbles 10. So I think that means no stumbles. Enthusiasm 10. Normology gives you an 8. JL says difficulty 2.0, overall 8.5. So, the Nasties are really getting into this. Cal in the Park says, I give him a 10 for artistic impression and an 8 for technical difficulty.
Nice.
Well.
So I think overall, and no Ziploc Smart, he says, is that guy sitting in Dusty's chairs throwing down gang signs after sports? No, I was not throwing down gang signs. I was giving Trev an 8.
Gang signs.
Don't know what gangs you follow, Ziploc, but that was an 8. That was an 8 out of 10, which I think is kind of what. Actually, I think you're probably hovering closer to that 8.75 average. But we must get to our Cool Bet hotline of the day, brought to you by our friends over at Cool Bet. Gager, where are we going with this line?
Well, I looked today, and they have some futures at Cool Bet.
I love futures.
The Canada Special, Ville de Football. That's French for City of Football, I believe.
Okay.
I don't speak French, but I kiss that way. 2024 CFL future champion. They're picking the Alouettes, so you can get in on the Alouettes and pair it up with the Vanier champion, which is also the
Montreal
Carabin. So
wow,
and that is plus 1,150. So
wow.
I mean, It is the CFL, like Marshall Ferguson said. Anyone can beat anyone, but right now you would have to say that the Alouettes are the favorites to win the Grey Cup. Would you say?
Right now, you how couldn't you say? Yeah,
I'm not up on my Carabin team.
Carabin. I think Danny Machocha was or is the head coach there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They've taken the torch away from Laval.
Okay.
The Rouge et Or out in the Quebec League. They've carried that for the last few years. Much like we're hoping to see here out in Canada West football with our Golden Bears seemingly turning. They have turned things around, but now it's time to take the next step and get to that Can West Championship and win the Hardy Cup. And we will have head football coach Chris Morris joining us around 8:35 to talk all things Golden Bears football. But first, before we get to Tim Hauraney, we're going to talk some racing with Tim Hery. It is race week. We got to get to I Got Beef.
Yeah, you had a bit. I have a mad beef, but you had something special.
I do. I might not be as beefy as yours, but I Got Beef is presented by Acme Meats. Eat fresh, eat local, eat Acme. Acme Meats, serving Edmonton for over 100 years. You can find them in the Ritchie Market area, 9570 76th Avenue. Go see Corey there. Tell him that you're friends with EST, and maybe he'll put on a show for you, a little knife show.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful spot down there. Excellent cuts of meat. I highly recommend it. It is butcher quality at grocery store prices. You can't go wrong when you go down to see Acme Meats. I'll kick off the I Got Beef. I got beef with a colleague here. And this would be my second time having beef with this said colleague. I got beef with the Wannock.
Oh,
okay.
There you go.
On the hangout yesterday, Belsey talked about the prospect of doing an EST combine, and which I had my hand up on that for a long time. So yes, I'm down with that. We will do an EST combine. But then they go off talking about, so who's going to be the favorite in this? Who's going to be the favorite in this? And all that little jock sniffer could do was talk about Belsey this and
really?
Cassie in this. Oh, they're former athletes. Have you seen those guys? That just because you used to play professional hockey does not mean that this now translates to current strength and conditioning.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah, Gage's written a book on it. So he not once did he mention you or I.
Oh, really?
Is any sort of in any sort of the categories? Which, I mean, we'd obviously have the 40-yard dash. There'd be some component of a bench press, some sort of who can throw the ball the farthest, and then there was also the talk about bringing in some hockey specific, categories. But yeah, I got beef with Mattawannock, and I came in and I said, just like you didn't even give Gage or I a sniff at anything. It seems like this contest was about Mattawannock and Belsey and Cass.
Yeah, well, they're all around the same age, right? So they're all delusional of what their former life was like. I think there's something to having children. You realize a lot about the limits of your body. Cass, younger kids, Belsey just scratching the surface. Mattawannock, no clue. So there's a lot of learning left to do for Mattawannock.
That's going to be tough lessons.
And this combine is going to be an eye opener for a guy that was worried about his shoulder if he swung too hard with a golf club. Come on, let's cowboy up here, Matty.
Gager, what's your beef?
Mine is I think I've said this before, but it drove me nuts again yesterday. Now my daughter is got her learners, so she's driving, and we're coming home from dance, and we're going down Smith Crossing on 23rd between 119th and essentially Rabbit Hill Road. And again, the police are out.
Oh no,
pointing the laser gun at cars coming down a hill. And again,
gravity fed.
and it's downhill, and then probably I think I've looked at it. It's about 15 meters before you start going uphill. And I was saying to my daughter, look, okay, keep the same speed. Let's see what you're at right after this. We were going the other way, so there was no chance of us getting a ticket. But I saw him coming out, pulling people over, and looking at these cars. There's no danger to anyone, but they're probably, if they're just a little bit, I mean, you should always be aware when you're driving, but you can get up to, like, I've gone through there and coasted. And I've hit I've gone 71.
Yeah.
Just on testing it, right? Yeah. And when I get to the next hill, I'm down to 50. There's no foot traffic. There's nothing. Come on, Dale McPhee. You got to stop this for me. And I can say that because he's a former coach. But this is ridiculous. It's a money grab for the police. To me, it just ruins it. Not only the ticket fine, but then things are so expensive these days. And hearing about today's the railroad strike, things are going to be even more expensive. Insurance costs for these people getting nabbed with these. I was losing it. My daughter was like, "Dad, calm down," on the way home. But I just think you would be so much better served to do something right. Like I live in a school zone. Go set up there. Cars are ripping through there at 50. But going to a place that's a money grab first of all. And there's no danger. I've never, in my whole life in Edmonton, I have never seen an accident there. The only time I was back in like 95 when Jason Arnott took his governor chip out of his Dodge Ram and we drove down that thing. And I thought we were going to die. But there was nothing else out there. It was just farmland at that point. So let's stop it with this. Put the speed traps in places where they're important, like school zones or high traffic areas. I'll quit. I'll never mention this again.
No. Please do. And continually mention it. Because you're saying what everybody feels. You know, put them in school zones. Put them near crosswalks or shopping centers or bus stops or places that are of high risk. I know exactly the road you're talking about. And there's not even a crosswalk down at the bottom of that. There's it's just a thoroughfare to get from across that little ravine.
Yeah.
And especially to sit at the bottom of it. And you're just poaching people that are essentially coasting down the hill.
Yeah.
You know, I agree. I don't like that. I don't like, you know.
You know what? I would be okay if you turn it the other way. If someone's speeding up the hill.
Yeah.
You know, do it that way.
Then have somebody sitting at the top of the hill.
Yeah. Do it. Turn the camera around.
You want a challenge? Here you go, bud.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I think that, you know, I got a ticket in the construction zone, and I'm like, yeah, I
deserved it.
Like, that was stupid. I should have watched my speed. You know, I get that. Slow down in those construction zones. There's people actually working for their living, and you know, you don't want to be flying around there. I understand that, but the stuff like that, like there's a spot in Sherwood Park when you're coming from Sherwood Park into Edmonton on Sherwood Park Freeway.
Yeah,
it goes from 80 and then it goes to 100. Well, they always sit under the bridge just before it's transitioning to 100 and nab you there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? Like, do you really want this look? Like, this is a bad look.
It's a bad look.
It's a bad look.
I don't know how they come to the car. I would feel awful.
Yeah. I've said that before. Like, do you feel good? Like, I mean, I'm not, this is a freeway.
Yeah.
And it's transitioning from 80 to 100. And you're sitting at the last part of the 80 spot where people are revving up to go to get to 100. I mean, that's just, yeah.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
I got beef.
But
if you do get a ticket, swing by Corey. He'll set you up with some jerky. And sometimes it just makes the pain all go away.
Yeah, it sometimes a little chewy jerky just makes everything disappear.
Yeah, you can get that anger out, you know, just rip it off. Right? Like just go for full carnivore.
Well, you know, a lot of people gauge her for mayor. It comes in from Bones in the Paris Jewelers inbox. I think, you know what? It's funny when a lot of times when you say things that are somewhat commonsensical.
Yeah,
it's amazing how many people agree with you and can see that. Yeah, that's just a money grab.
I'm not against speed traps. I think they're
in the right spot though. Put them in a spot like that in your neighborhood where children are playing, and you got to teach a lesson that you can't drive fast like that, or construction zones. Like, I understand that.
You want a money grab? You just go to I'll say Lillian Osborne. Go there, set up shop, and you will nab so many people for disobeying traffic laws, getting their kids to school. You'd meet your quota within the first month.
Well, be warned, Lillian Osborne picking up your kids from school.
Oh my God, my blood pressure went through the roof.
That must be extremely busy around that area at that time.
The problem is everyone thinks they're more important than everyone else. Like you stand in line, but someone was trying to ease their way through because they got to get their little darling.
You're talking like a pickup line where there's
drop off thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, there was words thrown a few times dropping off my kids. I had to stop. One of the happiest moments, because when my son got his license, and I'm close, but he wanted to drive to school, be cool, right? So I was like, fine, you go do that, because I can't handle it.
Right. It's a lot.
It is.
Well, that was I Got Beef, presented by Acme Meats. Go down and see Corey the Butcher. Get some fine beef jerky. Well, we are ready now. We've got Tim Hery on from TSN and Joaquin.
Tim, great to have you on the show again. Really looking forward to this weekend. It's been obviously the summer break, getting right back at it. First off, I want to nerd out a little bit with you. Reading about Zandvoort, the track itself, turn 3, I believe, the banking. Can you go into depth of a little bit more about this track and why drivers talk about it so fondly?
I think one of the big things with this track is the fact that if you make a mistake, you're going to get punished for it. There's the track limits are gravel and then a wall. And so I think for a driver, in terms of those track limits, it pretty much makes everything black and white, where, you go to tracks like we've had in the past, like Austria, and, race officials are handing out 5-second penalties like Pez out of a Pez dispenser. So this is a little better. It polices things better for sure, and it's a big commitment track. There are some corners here that are extremely fast. So out of that banking that you're talking about, the next section of corners, so I want to say it's probably about 4, 5, 6. Like, those are big commitment corners. They're blind. You can't see them on entry, so you have to make sure you're getting a good reference marker before you're turning the car into the corner. And remember, these drivers are doing this at like 250 plus kph, so it's fast. So you make a small little mistake somewhere, and that's it. You're off into the wall. I think that's why a lot of the drivers really love this track. I've driven it only on the sim. I've never raced on this track before, but just doing it on the sim, it's a wild ride, man.
So after, coming out of this break, we talked about it earlier, that the constructors is basically anyone's game right now, as it looks. What cars are going to succeed? You talk about the speed of the corners. What cars so far throughout the season have done well in high speed corners, and what teams do you think are going to have a little bit more tougher of a time this weekend?
I think the teams that probably have, in terms of the best aero load, so the amount of downforce that they can bolt on to the car. Red Bull is definitely in that conversation. We definitely saw that at the Belgian Grand Prix when Verstappen obviously qualified fast enough to take pole position, but got the engine penalty, so started P11. But that would be a team that's good with a lot of high downforce. So Red Bull would be pretty strong here this weekend. I think McLaren is probably next up in that department. I think for them, McLaren's got a car that's sort of like a better all-arounder. So they're competitive pretty much everywhere. But for them, it's kind of like they're not ultra competitive at high downforce tracks, right? They're in the ballpark. They're right there. They're chipping away. So a team that is really great at high speed corners and things of that nature, drivers who are really good at high speed corners, they're right there. They're able to pick up the pieces if something goes wrong. And then I think after that, it's got to be Mercedes and Ferrari. I think they're kind of in that window where, you know, they may not have as much downforce on the cars as what they would like, but Mercedes in particular, their car is starting to look like a really good all-arounder. And then Ferrari is just kind of taking a step backwards, that they need to take a bigger step moving forwards. And then from there on out, I mean, it's really all comes down to the team's developments, like Aston Martin, Red Bull. I mean, they haven't been the greatest with their developments so far this year. They've taken some wrong turns. There's no question about that. And so for them, this track may be a little more difficult, right? Those would be two teams that would be scrapping for those last points, like that 10th, 9th, 10th place. So it's basically, that's how I would see it when we come to a track like Zandvoort. And then, yeah, even for higher speed tracks, you know, I would say like Red Bull's probably got a pretty good advantage in that department. But moving forward on this calendar, we don't really have those, right? Like we got a lot of street circuits. We've got a lot of tracks that are built for straight line speed. We've got a lot of slower tracks on the calendar as well, and so that doesn't really favor a team like Red Bull.
So, and I also saw there's kind of a end of an era with Lewis Hamilton obviously going to Ferrari next season, but there were rumors that Bono might go with them. It looks like he's re-ups with Mercedes. Kind of a end of an era of a pretty solid racing team. How in your mind, how hard is it for a driver now, this having that relationship for such a long period of time? How's that going to affect Lewis moving forward when he gets to Ferrari? Is this getting to know a new race engineer? And how is he going to find that kind of chemistry that he had for so many years?
Yeah, it's a great question, because I think, you know, I spoke with Toto about this, I want to say right after we got that announcement that Lewis was going to be moving to Ferrari. And, you know, one of the big things for Toto was to try to hold on to Peter Bonington, or Bono, as some folks like to call him, to Lewis Hamilton's race engineer. He's been his race engineer forever. Yeah. And it's like that relationship that those two have with each other is a strong bond. You build a lot of trust between the two of you. I mean, you have to remember that you have a human that's piloting a rocket ship, and, you know, you want to have confidence in the guys and girls who are working on your car. And that's just the way it goes. For Bono, he's getting a promotion at the team. He's going to be sticking around long term. He also didn't have a poaching, like he had a non-poaching agreement in his contract with Mercedes, so he couldn't go anywhere anyways. Like Ferrari couldn't take him if they wanted to. That being said, though, I think the promotion for him is long overdue. He has engineered Lewis and the team to many driver titles, constructors world championships, teams championships. And so, you know, losing someone like that, Toto Wolff was basically, there's no way he's going anywhere, and just, you know, bumped him up, gave him a promotion, which he should have had a long time ago, in my opinion. But for Lewis, moving to Ferrari, getting a new engineer, that's a difficult thing. I mean, that's a relationship that needs to be built over time, where the two understand each other. How do they communicate with each other? Because, you know, the race car is a stressful, adrenaline-filled environment, and sometimes you say things on the radio that, you know, it just comes out. There's nothing really you can do about it. Emotions are running high, and the other person who's receiving that information, I mean, how are they taking it? Right? They're going to have their feelings hurt, or are they going to not want to be spoken to in a certain way? And so you've got to find out how you talk to each other in race situations, qualifying situations, and then you have to understand what each other likes in a car. Like a new engineer is going to need to learn the particulars of Lewis Hamilton's driving style, and that takes a while. That takes a long while. And so, moving to Ferrari, yes, it's a great move for Lewis, and it's exciting. But it's not going to be like he's going to get in the car and start winning races again. It's going to be he's going to get in the car. He's got to learn everybody. They got to learn him. It's going to be an ever evolving relationship. There's no question about that.
Tim Hauraney with us from TSN. Tim, I'm going to ask you to pull out that crystal ball for this weekend. Who do you got catching pole, and who do you have who do you see on the podium at the end of this race?
I'm not going to doubt Max Verstappen or count him out. Like I still think every race we go to, Red Bull's always going to be right there in the mix of being on pole position. So I'm going to say Max simply because he's very good at this track. I believe he's got like 3 wins in a row here at Zandvoort. So I would say it's probably Verstappen followed by the 2 McLarens. That's how I see it.
I got a question for you, Tim. It came in on our Paris Jewelers inbox here from Miranda in YYC. Hey, can you ask Tim what's going on with Aston? Because last year at least the car looked good, and this year it's fallen off the rails. Plus, does Stroll ever get booted as top driver for Aston? That's from Miranda in YYC.
Yeah, I would say they've definitely taken a wrong direction in terms of car development. So if you go back to, I want to say towards the end of last season in Canada. Well, we'll go to Canada first. Canada last year, they introduced a new floor for this car, and they had thought they had really targeted in on something, but what they had done is they had basically taken a wrong direction in terms of development, and they had spent the rest of the season really just chasing their tails as to what they had done wrong, where did they go wrong, how do they fix what they've done wrong, and they kind of made the car not driver friendly. And so when we talk about Lance, he's a little more sensitive when it comes to like updates, which is actually really difficult skill to have, and to have that type of a skill helps a team in terms of getting the direction of the updates, because they can feel the change faster. Where Fernando gets in the car, he kind of just drives it, and he's like, oh, okay, I can do this with it. I can make it do this. I can make it do that. The problem with that type of a driving style is the fact that you taper out your developments. You can't go anywhere with it because the driver can't give you the updates of where they have gone wrong. Where does it feel like it's going wrong? So you can't look into the future, which that's what F1's all about, right? Is trying to predict where you want the car to go and to be as a driver. We fast forward to this year, and spending all of that time on fixing last year's problems, you come to the track with a slower car compared to your competitors. Even though it is a step forward, it's not a big enough step forward, because you've spent all last year chasing your tail on where did things go wrong and how do we make things go right again. And then you get back into that development race, and they've made some steps, but they haven't been big enough steps. And some of the steps that they've made, they've lost their way again in some portions of it. I would point out Imola as a jumping off point. I would point out probably the last 2 races of the season of kind of getting back onto track with the direction they need to go to. And for Lance for this season, I mean, he's half a tenth slower than Fernando this season. If you go back to last season, that's a huge jump for him. And both drivers, I think, this season have been incredible with very difficult machinery to drive.
Tim, I really appreciate your time today. I could talk to you for hours. You'd probably get really tired of me after a while, but no. What do you have coming up on the award-winning podcast, Nailing the Apex?
We have podcasts coming out on later today on SDPN. So Nailing the Apex is the name of our podcast. We have that coming out. We have some stuff coming out on SportsCenter over the weekend. And then we have SportsCenter hits on Sunday following the Formula One Dutch Grand Prix. So yeah, lots of stuff going on this week. It's been great. It's nice to be back. Nice to be back to work. And I'm looking forward to the rest of this F1 season. Got some traveling planned, going to a couple more races this season. So yeah, super excited for all of it.
Perfect. Enjoy the music. I'm sure it'll be bumping
Yeah, it's
like
good
crazy,
club.
usually
Yeah.
with the Orange Army. But enjoy the weekend. I can't wait to watch you. And again, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
That's Tim Hery from TSN, who's a genius. I nerd out with this stuff. It would be great just to sit with him at an F1 race, I think, or even paddock walk, and like he could
break
actually
things down.
He just all the stuff. And who wrote from YYC there the question?
Miranda.
I asked that question of Tim earlier this season because we all have the what's up with the Lance Stroll, and Tim kind of laid it out a little bit there. He's a 10th off one of the greatest F1 drivers of all time in inferior machinery with Fernando Alonso, right? So I've said it before, Lance Stroll, the weight of a nation on his shoulders trying to do something in F1. And he's essentially what Tim has said, and watching, if you do watch Nailing the Apex, I suggest it. It's a great podcast, gives a lot of in-depth stuff. You can see that they're close, and how great would it be to have a Canadian driver that's competing? And I think, who knows?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay, well, we are going to hit that 8 o'clock sports update. But before we do, if you want to play Kind of Easy Trivia presented by Mr. Mike's, hit us up in the Paris Jewelers inbox. Say, Trev, pick me. Pick me. Oh, Trev, I'll give you a 9 out of 10. Young Trev. We'll hit Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia after the break. We've also got to dive into our Estes awards category here. Okay, so we will be talking about the Estes, which, by the way, coming up September 17th. Get your tickets now, because I'm feeling the way things are going, this is going to be a highly sought-after ticket. You can email matt@edmontonsportstalk.com to get your tickets for the Garneau Theater, September 17th, a black tie event. We're going to be talking Hangout of the Year in our final hour of our show. But prior to that, Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia. Hit up our man YTT. And YTT, now remember, get your pencils out, folks. It's time to it's time to give this man a grade. Give her, brother.
CFL Week 12 kicks off today as the 5-4 Rough Riders head out east to take on the 5-4 Toronto Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be making his CFL debut after being reinstated with conditions by the league. Kickoff for that one starts at 5:30. Sticking in the CFL, it was announced yesterday that quarterback Cody Fajardo is set to return to the Montreal Alouettes lineup when they take on the Edmonton Elks on Sunday. The 32-year-old injured his hamstring in a loss to the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 6. And the NFL preseason continues tonight with only 2 games, as the Indianapolis Colts will be taking on my Bengals, and the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Chicago Bears, both games starting at 6. In the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays blew a 6-0 lead to fall short in their 3-game series with an 11-7 loss last night. The Blue Jays will now head out east to take on the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game series. Game 1 of that one starts today at 5. And to finish off in the majors, one of the greatest Canadian ball players of all time, Joey Votto, announces his retirement after 17 seasons. The 6-time All-Star and former NL MVP finished his career with 356 home runs, which is the 92nd most all-time and 4th most amongst active players. Take your career to the next level with Clayburn Services. They are hiring all positions, including journeyman bricklayers and apprentices of all levels. Take advantage of their outstanding mentorship program and work with peace of mind, knowing they are an industry leader in safety. Visit www.clayburnservices.com or make it easy and give Jeff a call at 780-910-6728.
Wow.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Oh, we're back. We're back.
Hello,
that was
hello.
very abrupt. Good fade. In the dressing room, we would say, great fade. Trev.
Yeah.
Great fade.
That just brought your mark down to a 5 out of 10 on that last one, bud. Jeez.
That's all right.
Hey, it's okay.
You
It's
knocked
okay.
that one out of the park, though.
Well,
Yeah.
Trev, while you're getting somebody for Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia, let's talk a little bit of the hangout of the year. If you, nasties, have a specific hangout that resonated with you, chime in the nasty chat. Hit us up at the Paris Jewelers inbox, 780-218-9999. But there are a few that, have stood out. Obviously, the hangout during the playoffs on the rooftop of Tommy and Maddie's building, or the patio there with Torrens and Alice. That's got to be up there.
That was way up there.
Your hangout with Ron Lowe and
is
Quinn
that up?
Phillips.
Yeah?
That was
We almost made
definitely,
Quinn cry that time. Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
In a good way, because that was just story after story after story. And obviously Ron Lowe and her dad have quite the history, so that would have been interesting for her to sit in on that. The hangout with Fraser and Dean Millard, where
that was like the first. Was that the first or second one? That was
No.
really early, wasn't it?
that was pretty early, but that was like a grudge match of two
February?
people
Okay.
that wanted to, just couldn't get enough off their chest.
That was great.
I think it was Tommy and Maddie were just sitting there for pretty much the whole 2 hours, just trying to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
But I think the Torrens one and Alice is going to be up there. The
That's gonna be
Ronnie
a tough
Lowe
one.
visit to the studio was up there. I might say that the one that was done at the Hockey Helps the Homeless live on location was pretty cool too. I mean, we had Steve McIntyre on, we had Cass on, we had Ronnie Lowe on, we had Charlie Huddy.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good one. That might have to go into the running. But yeah, the Ron Lowe and the Torrens and Alice episodes were hard to beat.
I hated when they asked me a question at that one because I was like, just let these two cook,
Right.
Because they're just gold, golden tongue, silver tongues, just torn. Yeah, it was. I felt like I want to go where Maddie is and just watch.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It is something you just gotta get out of the way sometimes. So keep those coming in. The hangout live on location from Hockey Helps the Homeless. That comes in from an unnamed source, but it was one of those ones where it was neat to see all these players that were out. But Trev, I know you got somebody on there. We're going to get to Mr. Mike's Kind of Easy Trivia. Mr. Mike's Steakhouse Casual, the casualest place ever in the Hampton Inn on the corner of 137th Ave and Mark Messier Trail. Now with a 6 o'clock lager on tap. YTT, who you got?
This guy is feeling confident, all the confidence in the world. He says he's going to absolutely destroy it. This is Atif.
Oh, this is great. Atif, I hope you've been listening because these are tough questions. More Tommy Gazzola type questions. Good to have you on the show, Atif. I will read the first question, and you too, Trev, you start the timer after that. Atif, are you ready?
1 second, I have to reconnect. We're having connection issues. My bad.
No worries, no worries. Place your bets. Maybe we can call Cool Bet and see if Atif gets this.
I'd put it at minus 115.
But while we're waiting, let's go to the big sponsor, South Fort Chevrolet. Their August promo, the month incentive of employer pricing, is back once again. You can save up to $12,000 on a new Tahoe or Suburban. They've got the stock, the Tahoe, perfect for skiing, hockey, car seats, strollers, all the things to get ready for the start of the school year. Truly the best vehicle for a family. You can also save up to $14,000 on a Silverado 1500 HDs. Those are good for pulling trailers too, right? Those are, you get out there. Additionally, if you choose not to take the discount, you can get 0% financing on select trucks and SUVs approved on credit. But the big thing I like about South Fort is just, if you're driving by and you've managed to go by Staples or something like that, drop off some school supplies, grade school supplies for South Fort Chev during regular business hours. And each donation comes with a chance to win a detail package and a 150 gift card to Source for Sports.
Now, before we get to Atif, Tube Socks has been on this all morning, but he is being driven nuts that your desk is not lined up at the front.
Oh, really? I've been moving it. Sorry, Tube Socks.
I didn't
that better?
see that. Tube, does that help you? You need help. We can get you that here soon. It is one of those things though when you see something visual and it's not just perfectly. So thank you for that. Atif, are you ready to go? Are you ready to do this, man?
Well, can you guys hear me? I am ready. Yeah. Are we good? Because I gotta do something first, if you may. Okay. Are you guys ready? It's Jay and Gager on the Nielson Show. I'm getting ready to rap battle in Sack the Cub.
I love it. Good work, Atif.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 there. This is a three-way battle. It's wow, that's great.
Atif.
Atif, here we go.
Yes, sir.
I will read the first question. YouTube, Trev, you start the timer after I complete it. Atif, did the Blue Jays win yesterday?
No.
Who do the Elks play this Sunday?
The Montreal Alouettes.
What PGA Tour event is sponsored by a German car manufacturer this weekend?
You know what? I am not sure.
What team does Max Verstappen drive for, Red Bull or Gatorade?
It's for Red Bull.
Is Chad Kelly making a season debut?
Unfortunately, yes.
He got it.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
That's a paddling.
Oh, we've been strong. We're just playing by the rules.
Oh, you better believe that's a paddling.
And I was in Miami with my new beach house. Well, it was a couple minutes from the beach.
That's a paddling.
The first year, we took it to the limit.
Take it to the limit.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
You cannot come to my house. No, not today.
Atif, going to Mr. Mike's. There's a Mike's burger in there for sure with Atif, I think. Hey?
What a man of many talents. I mean, rap battling, dropping lines like that.
How about him just throwing the gauntlet down?
Destroys Zach to come.
Oh my gosh.
Or Rap to come.
Rap to come.
Yep.
He's in trouble now.
He is, man. Wheels is coming for you.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. One line is all he needed. That's it. That's it. It didn't even rhyme, but the delivery, everything about it was just beautiful.
The question he didn't get, this was the tough one I threw in there. What PG event is sponsored by a German car manufacturer this weekend? That's the BMW Championship, I believe. So, writing these are pretty tough. I got the F1 question completely wrong this week. So,
it seems so odd to say, but I agree. Like having to come up with 5 questions that are so easy, it can be because it has to be topical too. Like
the topical, and the goal is to get someone to sink their chompers into a juicy Mike's burger.
That's
right?
the goal. That's the goal.
You know, Atif, great job. Obviously listening, even with the beginning, perfect, and adding a little bit to the answer, like full, confidence. Chad Kelly, I wish he wasn't.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, perfect. Good
well
job.
done, Wheels. You stole the show. And you know who else is stealing the show today? It's A&W. It is the Burgers to Beat MS presented by A&W. Every burger counts. $2 from every teen burger sold today helps beat MS. Canada continues to have one of the highest rates of MS in the world, with 12 Canadians being diagnosed with MS every day. This is the 16th annual Burgers to Beat MS campaign, which has raised over $20 million to date. This makes A&W the largest corporate donor for MS Canada. Go get yourself a tasty, juicy teen burger. I know some of our friends from A&W are going to be dropping in sometime around the end of this show, right before the lead up to the hangout, to drop off some juicy teen burgers. And I think I'm sinking my teeth into one of those bad boys.
Hard not to.
It's hard not to, right? Yeah. It's just such a good burger. So before we got Chris Morris coming up. Well, he'll be after the second, I guess the next sports update. But let's get into 3 questions too many, which is presented by Park Mazda, which is your dealer for life, Mitch Lewicki. He has voted, and he has given YouTube Trev a 7.5 out of 10 on his liner or his sports updates today. So go visit Mitch Lewicki out at Park Mazda. 3 questions too many. We will start with YTT. What was your hangout of the year?
Yep. Okay. Yeah. No, this is a good one. It was the Hockey Helps the Homeless. Just Steve McIntyre going on there. He had some pretty good. Just that whole day, just seeing all the alumni. There's Theo Peckham joined for a little bit. I forget who all joined, but it was just Zach and I holding down the fort here at EST Global HQ, and I thoroughly enjoyed just what McIntyre, because that was when I was kind of just starting to watch the Oilers. And when fighting was pretty prominent still then, and I was big into enforcers and whatnot, and I just remember my stepdad just saying like, this guy's like, he's like one of the toughest in the league right now, if not the toughest. And so I was always just glued to him as a player, just like watching him. Just man, he's just so tough. And we had him on Hello Hockey as well this year, and he's just funny, man. He's just really really funny. But he had some good insight as well, and it was just really cool. So just there was a lot of really good guests, and I'm drawing a blank on who else joined, but that would be my favorite. It was very fun.
Gage,
it's hard.
I mean, you were part of the Ronnie Lowe one.
I don't like to vote for myself, but if I must, I don't want to vote for myself. I like the confrontation a little bit, but it's hard not to. That Jonathan Torrance, just the timing of it all, being in that little, what is it, that off room in Tommy and Maddie's building there, and
the veranda,
the utility room, or what, I don't know what they call it, the auxiliary room. Those guys were just hilarious. They were just awesome. All the stories, and even the thing that was most impressive is I had some questions that I wanted to ask them, and they answered like I didn't. They answered them, like the talk about Letterkenny, and even back to Trailer Park Boys, and he did tease that he does have some new projects possibly coming out. Just kind of waiting for, I think the term is green light, the projects and stuff, and he knocks everything that he does out of the park.
Funny, dude.
And if that I forget the name of that show that was in that he it was a complete mockery of The Bachelor, where everyone was an actor and they made this guy fall in love with a girl. It was great. But yeah, I'd have to vote for that one.
I remember Torrance from Street Sense.
Oh yeah,
back in the day. You wouldn't even know what we're talking about, right, Trev?
Street Sense?
Yeah.
No.
So it's like a Canadian show.
Oh, he's a talk show host.
No, this was like an after school show where it was kind of like, I don't know, just Street Sense. It'd be informative, kind of cool stuff for junior high kids or elementary kids to watch after school. He was one of the hosts of it. Yeah. So, and if you are listening right now, hammer that thumbs up button, but more importantly, go and subscribe. There's a large amount of you that are listening or watching that simply just haven't subscribed. It takes 2 minutes. Help us get to 10,000 before our anniversary. YTT?
Yes, and I just thought of another classic hangout moment. Hangout of the year was when we were at Century Casino after the Super Bowl. It was a pretty rough day for me, but I just remember It's actually going for moment of the year as well. And if you have a moment of the year in a hangout, the hangout should probably be noticed. And it was when T-Roy, obviously, he takes off the shirt, and he was joined by his Matthew Wannick's brother. He made his debut, Michael, I believe. So that was really fun. But T-Roy just tarps off. That was so funny, man. So yeah, I had to throw that one in there.
I think T-Roy was still feeling it at that point. If I had to wager, a guess. But okay, question number 2 for 3 questions too many by Park Mazda. We're getting back in A&W. Obviously, the Teen Burger's the talk of the town today. $2 from every Teen Burger goes to support MS. But I want to know, what is your secondary go-to on the A&W menu? And maybe something that, we talked about Trev with the chubby chicken thing, the Chipotle wrap earlier. Gager, what's your secondary go-to?
It's got to be the matzo burger.
Yeah. I saw a lot of matzo burger.
Yeah. No, if you haven't tried it, because you can, there's a little hesitation sometimes if you haven't tried it. It's
delightful.
one of the, it's really good. It's that A&W matzo burger is restaurant quality, I would say.
Yeah.
And you know what? The other thing about A&W is sometimes if you're, if you've eaten too much bread, or whatever, you can get a lettuce wrap burger.
That's a great point.
And if you've ever, I did it once driving my daughter to dance like I normally do, and I stopped on the way home, and I was just like, I don't want the bread.
Yeah.
And then I go, oh, they have a lettuce wrap. So I had I think I had a grandpa burger lettuce wrap. So she was mad at me because they had to use more because it's quite a big burger.
Right.
But iceberg lettuce around a burger, I actually have incorporated that into my culinary skills at times too.
I've never done that.
Yeah, just wrapped in complete lettuce. You just don't have that, that extra bread full feeling, and you just you get the full burger effect with a little bit of extra greens in there.
Huh. Well, go get yourself if a teen burger's a little too much for you today, go get a lettuce wrap teen burger. See what they can throw down the pipe on you on that one. Okay, and the third question for Park Mazda, 3 questions too many. What is the first thing I should do when I get to my dinosaur-themed luxury suite at the Fantasyland Hotel this afternoon?
Trev's a little I'm interested to hear what Trev has to say. Do you need time, Trev?
Gosh. Yeah, I might need a sec here.
Oh, you got to
throw this on me.
Don the robe, slippers.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Full chest out, just maybe a little bit of the Mr. T starter kit. I just throw it on.
Well, and the funny thing is, thankfully there's like a what do you call it? Like the jacuzzi in there and everything. So after we leave the water park, the girls are all excited because there's a dinosaur right above it. So I think I'm gonna grab Mrs. Glue and I maybe a couple bottles of red and just sit back, watch some football, listen to the girls have fun in their little jacuzzi there.
Nice.
They're really excited about the prospect of ordering in.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Where are you going to order? Our room service?
Yeah,
or?
like room service. Like get like some nachos late at night or something.
Are you like a big wheel? Are you down by the pool phoning in, hey, can I get some 6 o'clocker lagers and some Burry Booze on ice back at the room?
Yeah, we'll figure something out for sure.
Are rose petals going to be in, or is that too much?
I wish, but it's kind of it's a one room suite. So the bunk beds are cool though. They do have
really.
I'll show you a picture of it after. It's Zulu says play the Jurassic Park theme song in a robe. That would be good. That would be good.
Socks comes in. We were talking about lettuce wrap and the bun for the win.
Oh my god.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay. All right. We'll keep that. I wonder if you can get a lettuce wrap whistle dog.
Oh, that's tough. Yeah, I think you'd
be messy.
It would
be a lot of slippery things going on there. So one other one I wanted to mention too was, and this is just it came in, so I'm not. But Jed Roberts on the Hangout. Now, keep in mind, Jed Roberts is going to be a regular contributor on the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. So he'll be on once a week. He's going to give his take on all things Double E, as well as Oilers and everything. He's very in tune with the community here. He does a lot of community work, and he's just downright a hilarious guy. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have him on once a week. We wrapped up Jed. But his appearance on the Hangout when he was on and he did his impersonation of Giz. He told one of the funniest stories I've ever heard of Giz and him when they used to go up north, because they used to do trips up north to the Arctic and whatnot to spread the word and whatnot. And he told me a story about that was on the Hangout, and the story was hilarious. The impersonation was spot on. You couldn't have got much better. So that was one. So yeah, there's a few to. There's definitely a few, for Matty and the crew he has assembled to be the final vote. Now what I understand is that once he gets the nominations, he's going to then send that out to the Nasty Club members for their vote. So they're going to get the initial votes, and then it's going to then come back to a selection committee that are ultimately going to make the final decision.
Perfect.
But I was talking to in a meeting yesterday with Dusty before he left, and HR Daddy and Mama are going to be here. Dusty's bringing the whole wife, the kids, everything.
Yeah.
So that it's going to be event. I think I'm going to get a new suit. It's time. Is
it time?
I need a new suit anyways. This just is the right opportunity to do it, and I might go EST blue.
Wow.
What say you, Trev? I know, Gator, you probably have a few suits.
I'll crowbar my way into one of those old things.
Just got to put some lotion on first. Yeah, I know. It is. It happens. Whatever. It is what it is. We are getting close to the final sports update of the day, and then we are going to dive into Canada West football with head coach of your Golden Bears, Chris Morris. Fergie. Jay, what's your poll position for tonight? That might I like when you bring things in from guests that we've had on back to the show. Fergie, I think you're the front runner right now for the text of the day. And just a reminder that the text of the day is brought to you by A&W, and we all know what's happening at A&W today. I want to see all those pictures of teen burgers. It'll be Teen Burger Palooza today. But Fergie's prostate, you are in the driver's seat right now for the text of the day. And YTT, it's that time, brother.
Bring it home, kid.
Bring us home, baby.
CFL Week 12 kicks off today as the 5-4 Rough Riders head out east to take on the 5-4 Toronto Argonauts. Chad Kelly will be making his CFL debut after being reinstated with conditions by the league. Kickoff for that one starts at 5:30. Sticking in the CFL, it was announced yesterday that quarterback Cody Fajardo is set to return to the Montreal Alouettes lineup when they take on the Edmonton Elks this Sunday. The 32-year-old injured his hamstring in a loss to the Toronto Argonauts back in Week 6. And the NFL preseason continues tonight with only 2 games as the Indianapolis Colts will be taking on my Bengals. And the Kansas City Chiefs will be facing the Chicago Bears, both games starting at 6. In the majors, the Toronto Blue Jays blew a 6-0 lead to fall short in their 3-game series with an 11-7 loss last night. The Blue Jays will now head out east. They will now head out west to take on the Los Angeles Angels in a 4-game series. Game 1 of that one starts today at 5. And to finish things off in the majors, one of the greatest Canadian ballplayers of all time, Joey Votto, announces his retirement after 17 seasons. The 6-time All-Star and former NL MVP finished his career with 356 home runs, which is 92nd most all-time and 4th most amongst active players. The wait is over. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payment for 18 months interest-free and be entered to win your purchase up to $5,000 on furniture and home decor. You can find them next to Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common.
The Nielson Show featuring Lieutenant Eric. Only on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Welcome back to the Nielson Show with Lieutenant Eric. They're not here. It's myself, Joaquin Gage, Jay Milne, taking you home till 9 o'clock. Jay, this has been it's enjoyable. This is the third time we've graced the airwaves together, and
it's not as terrifying anymore.
No,
that's good to know.
And I have to say, thank you for watching, listening. Your participation in the group chats on the text line 780-218-9999. This is the dog days of summer. We're getting close. Like you can smell the grass of some stuff on the horizon starting, right? Like
I generally feel that when you get back the NFL, that at least you have, that's kind of the tipping point for me, because training camp is starting in the NHL. You're only a month away from live bullets being fired in the NHL, but it's a nice. Actually, this weekend is the because college football starts this weekend. So this is, I think, for the next 6 or I forget the exact number, but there's going to be football on your television every weekend for the next however many months. That is so beautiful. Music to my ears, anyhow. But I'm a big football guy.
I heard, and maybe you can answer this question better than I can, but was Notre Dame ranked in the top 10 in college football this year? Just because for OG nasties of the Nielsen Show, I believe he was pitched back in the day to he did recruiting trips, and not for Dusty to pick a college football team. And he heard the Fighting Irish fighting song, and I think that's where he was leaning actually. And I wanted to ask Dusty this, if he's excited that his fake alma mater is going to be in the top 10. And I mean, I don't think they're winning a national championship, but exciting to start the season nonetheless.
They are ranked number 7 in the CFP top 25 or the AP top 25 right now, but they've been ranked high for the last several years, or at least within the top 10. But it's kind of a weird thing because they don't play in a specific conference, right? And with all this conference realignment that's been going on in the NCAA football, I don't know how they can keep passing by Notre Dame to say, join a conference, get involved in the conference. But I mean, those are big games for sure going into Notre Dame. But you got Georgia at 1, Ohio State at 2, Oregon at 3, Texas 4, Alabama, Ole Miss, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, and then Florida State.
What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win overall. While our loyal sons are marching onward to victory. I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if, Kyle, you're in the nasty chat there, if you get it says any teen burger that you get. So if you get the combo, then they're kicking $2 to MS for sure.
Nice.
Yeah. So actually, this dovetails nicely into our guest here. We are going to bring on the head coach of the U of A Golden Bears football squad, former Eskimo great. He's on the Wall of Fame at Commonwealth Stadium. This is the one, the only Chris Morris. How you doing, big fella? We're getting her back. It's okay. We got to reconnect with Chris. But I was going to say, he's got, they are on their way, or we'll find out soon here, but he is going to be, they're playing at Saskatchewan tonight in an exhibition game, which is great. Playing at Saskatchewan under the lights, like it doesn't get much better than that. But, he's got a bus full of football players. It might be an idea to head over to your nearest A&W. But Chris Morris, head coach of the Golden Bears football program, is on the line with us. How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. So walk us through what's going on. Are you guys? I would imagine the road trip starts today. You're not. You wouldn't have stayed overnight last night. So when are you guys heading on the road to go out to Saskatchewan?
No, I'm actually in the hotel. I'm actually looking at Husky Stadium or Griffin Stadium right now. So we're here. We got here yesterday.
Oh, okay.
We had team meetings last night, and we play tonight at 7.
Oh wow, that's fantastic. Just it's nice for the fellas to get together. I can't imagine how many athletes you took out there, as it is an exhibition game, so you do not have to be under the roster size that you would be for a regular season game. But how many players did you take out there with you?
We have 80 here. So we have 110 in our program, but we had a 105 in our program, so we brought 80 with us to this one. We're excited. It's kind of the guys that are going to sort of auditioning to see who's going to be on the roster this year, so it's going to be a really good start for us.
Well, that's awesome. It's a good experience, especially for younger guys, to get on the road. That was the biggest thing that it's hard to fathom, is coming out of high school and going to a junior program or a U Sports program like this is just how different it is. I mean, you're on the road, you're in hotels, you're doing this, you're there overlooking Griffith Stadium, and I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your athletes. I know you've got them prepared, and they are going to kick some Husky ass tonight. But that being said, I want to know, how was the off season? How was training camp? Because last time you were in, it was on the Hangout. So people may not that are listening to the morning show may not have heard all what you had to say. But how was training camp? And give us some players to watch heading into this 2024 campaign.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a great off season. The kids got right back to work after what was an unfortunate end to our season, and they put in some great work this winter. Training camp started about a week and a half ago now, and we have a very, very talented team here. We got some veteran players. We got some really, really good young players coming in. We had 4 kids drafted last year, and 3 of them got to come back for their final year of eligibility. So, obviously, you got Matthew Peterson and Daniel Shin back on offense. That's our whole offensive line back from last year, with our starting tailback, with our backup tailback, Opia Shinubi, here as well. So, we averaged close to 10 yards a carry with that group last year. So we're really excited about the possibilities going into this year. On defense, Jonathan Gastini came back. He's going to captain that defense and lead that defense. We have a bunch of returners there as well. We had some big losses on defense too. We had like Quadwell Bohan, who's now playing for Calgary. Riley Safransky, who's playing for us on defense as well. They're both gone, so that's going to be interesting to replace. And then Tyshawn Blackburn's playing for Toronto Argos right now. So we have some kids that we have to fill in with, but we have some guys that have put a lot of work in and are ready to go. And that's one of the great things about having this exhibition game, is we get to see those guys now in a starting role for the first time. Plus those guys going into their final year here with us. It's a good feel here right now as a team we got going. So I'm excited to see what we do tonight.
Chris Morris with us from U of A Golden Bears football. Chris, you mentioned the heartache of how last season ended. And with a lot of returning players, what do you think the biggest I made alluded to, you only learn from your mistakes. What do you think your guys learned from last year, and what can they implement going into this year's season?
Yeah, and I think you talk about all the time the finality of football and how it's the little tiny things that can get in the way of you being successful and reaching your goals, and how every little detail matters. And you get to the end of last year, and it's like, we took care of we were a very detail-oriented team last year, and we did a lot of really good things. But in the end, we weren't detail-oriented enough, and somebody got us in the end, right? So for us, I just talk about how like that team's dead now. Like it's someone killed us. Like we you know, we have to sort of rise up here from the ashes and we have to figure out what we're going to be together this year. And we have a whole bunch of different players here this year. We got some great new additions. We got some guys that are coming into their own as leaders. The voice, the feel, the character of this team is going to be different. So now it's a matter of what are we going to be together. And today in training camp, it started like in the winter, starting to build that. And now our first chance to play against other people is tonight. So it'll be a good chance to see, you know, it's our first, I said to the team last night, this is our first chance to see, you know, what we are about this year and start, you know, looking at what we're going to be and what sort of team we're going to be able to, you know, what sort of team we're going to be able to field and how high we can aspire together. And they're excited. It's just now, you know, we got to do it with live bullets. So we'll see what happens.
Chris, I maybe just a selfish question. How come Ian Herbers gets to go to Belfast and you won't get, or are you just going to Saskatoon? That doesn't seem fair to me. Is there something we can do?
Well, no, it's just because we coach football. We coach the best sport, right? So
Yeah,
we get to, you know, we get to be around here. You know what I mean? So that's the gift. It's gift enough that we get to play the top sport. So that's kind of the way it is.
Perfect.
Spoken like a true champion. You mentioned on the Hangout when you were in that, you know, the Canada West is the murderer's row of youth sports, and that, you know, there's not an off week, and you know that certainly is the truth. I mean, you're starting on the road at UBC. Then you're back home the following week against the Dinos. Is it, you know, and I know last year's done and over with, but is it a major focus of yours, maybe within your coaching room, that you guys would like to go out and secure home playoff status throughout the regular season?
Yeah, you know, dude, I'll be honest. Like, we just want to win tonight. Like, that's all. That's all. It is so good. The conference is so good. If you start thinking about like, we want to win this many games and we want to be home field advantage in the playoffs and all those sort of things. Like, that is just like, we cannot get our minds there. We need to take care of, like, we're doing the pregame meal right now. We got to do that well. Then we got to get prepared for the game. We got to have a pregame warm up. Like, if we just stay in that mode, we'll be okay. It really is a competitive conference. And like, even though, like, you know, you look at teams that, okay, they lost a few guys and everybody loses a few guys every year. And we have a lot of returning kids this year. Like, it's going to be just a dogfight every single game. And that's one of the great parts. I always tell kids when I'm recruiting them, if you come play in Canada West, you're going to play in a meaningful game every week. You're not going to have games where there's a huge blowout. You're not going to have games where, you know, one team just completely outmatches another. You're going to be in competitive contests every single weekend. And that's one of the advantages of playing in this conference. I think that's why you look at Canada West and the number of kids that get drafted out of here, it's higher than anywhere else by a lot. And it is the quality of the conference that makes that happen.
Well, and, you know, one more just quick question for you, Chris, and I know your focus is on tonight, but I got to ask you, you know, seeing what's happened here in the last 2 weeks with your former team, the Double E, new ownership, private ownership, what are your thoughts on that? And is it something that, you know, you as alumni are happy to see that the branding has gone, is going to be focusing more now on the Double E?
Yeah, I'm just really excited for that group of people. Like, they've worked incredibly hard. Like, I look at how hard they've tried to engage with the community, and I look at how hard the people in that organization have worked from a player standpoint to the coach's standpoint. I feel really bad for Coach Jones. Like, he worked really hard to start getting things turned around, and things are going right now really well. And they've had good players, and they've been in every game they've played this year pretty much, except for maybe one. And you know what? And they've been really close, and it's nice to see them turning a corner. That's a proud organization, and it's a great organization, and I'm just excited to see them having some success, and hopefully they can build on that and start getting back to the expectation be winning instead of just, you know, it was a really nice thing.
Well, we really appreciate you taking the time out of a game day to come on and talk to us two goofs about all things Golden Bears football. We are rooting for you tonight. Do you know, is that game available on Canada West TV or no?
I don't think it's on Canada West TV. If it's on, it'll be on through Saskatchewan if U of S streams it, but I'm not sure if it is. I haven't heard anything along those lines.
Okay, well, you know what to do. Go kick some ass tonight. Go beat those Huskies down. Nothing like taking a win out of Griffith Stadium. That's always makes for a smoother bus ride home. And be sure on your way home to stop by your local A&W, Chris, because it is burgers to beat MS. So every $2 from every teen burger today goes towards helping beat MS. So thank you, Chris. You guys have a great game, and we will talk to you more as the season progresses.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me on.
Wow, that was Chris Morris, your Golden Bears football head coach, and you get the sense that he is on a business trip, Joaquin. That guy would put shivers down the spine of many people, and that's when he's being nice. I mean, heaven forbid the guy had a bad day or, got the wrong coffee when he went to his local establishment for his coffee in the morning. But that's good to hear. The process, I mean, this is his 11th year of coaching as head coach of the Golden Bears football program, and the changes that have transpired under his leadership are amazing. And not only on the field success, but off the field success. They have the highest number of academic All-Canadians in youth sports in football.
Wow.
And that's fantastic. So he's churning out young men into the community of Edmonton, as well as delivering high-quality football. So the home opener, just for those wondering, it's actually going to be a heck of a weekend because they are here on Friday, September 6th. They are hosting the Dinos. And we know what the Dinos are. I hate the Dinos. Dino Week, that's always a fun week. So if you're looking to head down to Footfield and watch some exciting Golden Bears football action, Friday, September 6th, is your next day. Now, we've got to get to the text of the day. Gager, did you have anything that would pop up, or is this Fergie's prostates to lose at this point?
No, I was nothing really, to be quite honest. I wasn't really looking too much for it. I was looking for questions.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see very many texts of the day. Yeah, I think it is.
Okay, so today's winner of the A&W Text of the Day, which you will get a gift certificate from A&W. If you come over and get it right away, you can go use it on the Burgers to Beat MS Day, which is today. That is Fergie's prostate. A text that came in at 8:27 a.m. He said, Jay, what's your pole position for tonight? That came in from Fergie's prostate in relation to the fact that we are spending the evening at West Edmonton Mall.
And it's a race week.
We are living in the mall. And I remember from when I was younger, when I said earlier in the show that we used to do this, right? But that's when they had the Dolphins and such in the mall still. And when the mall's closed.
Oh, yeah, the Dolphins, right.
When the mall's closed, you can walk around the mall at
yeah.
night. It's just nothing's open.
Yeah.
But you can certainly walk around. So we used to walk around and think, we used to, they don't like close it off. Like you can walk through the mall. So we used to try and talk to the Dolphins and do,
Talk to Snowflake?
Yes, of course nothing happened. We were waiting this Shamu glorious, jump from the water when we tried talking to the Dolphins at 11 p.m. at night, but alas, it did not happen.
Kyle the Embalmer texted into the nasty chat, and I thought the exact same thing. Kyle is when we first started hearing Chris Morris on the phone, he sounds exactly like Grant Fuhr.
He does.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was like, who is this? Who the hell are you all of a sudden?
Right?
Yeah,
that was interesting to hear.
I agree with you.
When he said that, I started listening to him. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Same cadence and same tone of voice.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So we are now into the final portion of the show, which is the wrap presented by William H. Huff. If you want your office or your man cave or whatever you have going on to look as good as this does, contact them over at William H. Huff. Well, we're going to go around the room and see what we learned today. Trev, let's start with you, young man. What did you learn today?
I learned that there's a dinosaur-themed room at West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, man.
I learned that there used to be dolphins at the West Edmonton Mall.
Yes.
I might have knew that. I don't know. Maddie might have told me that.
And
then,
penguins. They used to have a whole underground
penguins?
And flamingos. Yes, and flamingos, man.
Flamingos?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I learned
and there
that.
used to be submarines. Yeah, Westhead used to be cool. We're going to find out tonight. They had submarines that you go in and they take you down under the, where the big boat is there?
Yep.
Yeah, they'd go around there and...
That's I learned that too. Okay, well, I'm learning all sorts.
Go see the aquarium. It's fun.
Yeah, and what else? I think that's about it, but learned a lot about West Ed.
Gager, what say you? What did you learn today? today.
I learned that Marshall Ferguson is a badass.
Yeah, man.
Biking on the new bike to the games to do it and then come back. What a nice little trip.
Yeah,
you know.
I just don't understand. Like, how does his suit get there? Like, isn't it all wrinkled? Because
you got to.
It's gonna be in a saddlebag on the side of that thing.
But you can roll those up and.
Can you?
Yeah. Get the Teflon suit.
Yeah.
And my old buddy Greg DeVries got a Teflon suit, and I remember because late after a game we were spraying mustard on it, and he was like, "Can't touch this. Can't touch this." Dun, dun, dun.
Oh my gosh! Yes, the Mindbender. People are chiming in on everything sports or West Edmonton Mall. The Mindbender
is gone.
Roller coaster's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't even know what we're gonna hit up at the Galaxy Land.
Yeah, the arcades are always fun.
Yeah.
There is hey, go. I guess you can't. It's age restrictions. But the bingo hall, I've hit that a few times, and
go bring in a pack of ciggies and just
you can't. Well, not anymore.
Let it rip.
It's more go outside and see how much THC you can get into your system, which is
get that free high.
I don't know how they. Well, some of them use the electronics that if they call the ball, it automatically does it for you. But some of these women, like they just, I don't know how much they're smoking out there. I don't know how they dap the numbers correctly. They can still see straight after all that. But
well, and you used to get the daredevil that would jump in from the second second floor of West Edmonton Mall into where the boat is, and try get away with it. Those were always fun to watch.
I know Dusty's going to hate that I say this, but don't. I don't know. Have you tried the water massage?
You know what? I was actually going to surprise the missus with one maybe later. Yeah. You don't like it, do you? I can see in your face.
I tried it. I thought it was going to be more enjoyable than what it was.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're going to walk right by it when we go to
It felt like I was taking a shower with a raincoat on. That's what it felt like.
Well,
if you know, you know.
Well, I do it all the time, so I do know exactly what you mean. The drop of doom.
That's
yes,
good. Yeah,
that was
good.
So this was just a little box. It was a metal box that would just go tick, 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 all the way to the top of Galaxyland, then drop, and
Don't they
you'd
still
hear
have that?
it.
No,
I don't know if they still have
I think
that.
all the good stuff's gone, man.
what?
Yeah, the Mindbender, like
There is some racing though.
Heard the story.
there?
about
Yeah,
mine.
you can go race some cars too.
the girls will like bumper cars. I know that. I hope they still have the big boat.
I think they do have the boat.
That was always fun.
I know one time I brought my scooter down, and they had a skate park in the West 49. I'm pretty sure it was, and I'm pretty sure that's gone as well.
Wow,
which is too bad.
Terrible. And there's the Professor Wem's mini golf.
Oh yeah,
You're gonna try to do that. I know there's a lot of other there's blacklight golf and all this.
Bourbon Street people watching is always.
Well, we got to go for supper somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of heading up to Hudson's there. Go see my man Borley. Check it out because kids are allowed in there.
Yeah.
But that would be fun to do some. I love people watching.
Yeah.
And my oldest is exactly like me.
Okay.
My wife laughs all the time because she's just like, she is just like you. Like, you cannot help but stare at people. And I cannot.
Yeah, that's good.
I cannot help. And maybe we'll go see a movie. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Jeez.
Right? They really want to see Despicable Me 4. Maybe we could do a late night movie.
You're not going to go wrong. Kids' movies are always good.
You're not going to go wrong. And you know what? Zach come chiming in on the nasty chat. They still have the drop of doom. Galaxy Ratland is overrated, though. Galaxy Ratland.
Rapland is what he was. He's down in the bottom part.
This is one of those rap tricks?
Yeah, this is where you battle.
Yeah. It's on, dog.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. You know what doesn't hurt either is going to get one of them teen burgers today.
Yeah.
That would be something if the Golden Bears football bus rolled up with
104 team burgers. That puts a little dent in MS, doesn't it?
Well, he's got 80 athletes with them. And then, there's going to be probably a 15-person coaching staff, training staff. That would be imagine if you pulled up to the drive-thru just after they got there.
Oh, no.
And you're waiting for like 200 teen burgers.
Yeah.
That would suck. So I learned today that Gager, I don't know, Gager, you might, cops might be looking for you.
Yeah, I know. I better, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. We'll see if there's an APB put out on me. Yeah. Let's, I know people, though. I know people. I've got one of my good buddies, Mike. That prick, he one time he saw me driving, and he's a officer. This was a few years ago, and he threw the cherries on. And you know the feeling you get when the cherries go on behind you. Even if they pass you, you still get that super boost of adrenaline right there.
Sure.
And then
It's
he pulled me
feeling.
over, and I'm like, geez, where's my insurance? What was I doing? Was I speeding? And then I see him, and he comes up and he jumps on the side of the car, and I go, "Oh, you."
If
So,
I was
Mike,
if
don't
I was
do
a
that.
cop, I'd do that all the time.
Yeah.
I'd probably lose my license. There was actually a cop in the U.S. that was recently suspended because he was part of a scene in a OnlyFans production.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
So it's like the husband and wife get pulled over, and the wife's like, "Oh, I'll get out of this ticket."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, you won't." And then the cop came up. He was actually on duty. He said his real name.
Perfect.
What do you do? Well, I mean, we got okay. Let's talk about because Matt's here. So in the spirit of Mattawanac, let's all make predictions because he won't do it. So let's do it. What do we see happening in the? Because I think this is a pivotal game. I think if the Elks can get it done this Sunday, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think that would then really set them on the, I think if they can get to that 4-7 mark, they are a team to be reckoned with for sure.
I think if they pull this off, which I think they can, and they are, was it plus 255 to win against the Alouettes? So if you're feeling lucky, I think it lines up perfectly for them. And if they win this game, Jay, I think I'm slinging dogs for a playoff game. We heard Marshall Ferguson talk about vibes.
Yes,
definitely. Chris Morris. That seems like what he's trying to implement right now.
Yep.
Good vibes with the team. There's good vibes with the Elks right now, and I think with Fajardo coming back, Mac, just there's that. Oh, we're getting the bands back together. We can just throw our helmets and cleats out there. It should be okay. I just think it lines up perfectly.
Well, and to hear, for Chris to say that they went out the day before for an exhibition game, that's something you don't see happen often. But I'm almost I would 100% say that was just some team building.
But what
get
about
players used to going on the road?
Just those vibes. That's what we're talking about. Jeez, it's big in there. What a team bonding experience when you can. You get the group together and go on the bus, road trip, like the night in the hotel, guys hanging out, probably hanging out in Sask. It's awesome, man.
Oh, it is.
It's fantastic.
Hey, Maddie.
Jesus.
Hey, what's going on out there? What do we got?
Oh
Team
my
burgers!
gosh, we got tons of team burgers out there. Wow,
There it is.
It's full. It's
The
full.
burgers from MS. Yeah, bring that in here. Come on in and say hi. So this is the A&W team. They are here for Burgers for MS. We've been pumping it all morning. Our listeners are going to buy 1 million teen burgers today. Yes, so that means 200,000. Look at this,
Look at
folks.
that.
All right, Gager, let's grab one here.
Oh, are we
All right.
actually grabbing one?
We're
Trev,
doing
you
this.
come over and grab
Trev,
one.
come on. Get in here. Let's do this dang thing. Oh, yeah.
Get this.
Oh, baby.
Yeah. Who do we got on the hangout today, by the way? Do you know who?
Oh, the Burgers from MS.
Burgers from MS?
A&W and the team.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
This is great.
Thank you. Thank
Everybody
you guys.
go get one. Go support it. It's been going on for 16 years. They've raised over $20 million to date. Let's help them keep that going. Today's Burgers to beat MS. Reminder, every burger counts. $2 from every teen burger helps beat MS. So go and support A&W today. Get a teen burger And we're going to leave you with Gager and I and Trev mowing down on one of these things. Thanks for listening. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, yeah, Gager. Here we go. Oh.